It's the Mixed Martial Arts Hour with
The Mixed Martial Arts Hour is back in your life on this Monday, January 23rd, 2023. I had to kind of pause there for a moment because when we rehearsed,
you did it.
I said 22, and I just wanted to make sure that I didn't screw it up because Frank gets very upset when I say 2022. It is 2023, and hello again, everyone. I sure hope you're doing well. It is great to be here on a very cold and rainy Monday afternoon in New York City. Off the top, my friends, I have good news and I have bad news, and I sure hope you had a lovely weekend. Of course, it's a post-pay-per-view Monday here on the program. 283 in the books. Return to Rio in the books. A lot to discuss on today's program. Good news and bad news is, well, the good news is you guys don't have to hear me talk about the Buffalo Bills for about 9 months, so I'm sure many of you are very happy about that, including our own Frank.
That's not true.
Didn't even get a commiserations, didn't even get a text, didn't even get a... I'm sorry. I didn't get a hand on the knee.
You want me to put a hand on the knee for you?
I didn't get anything. It would have been nice. I mean, the thought, honestly, in this moment would have been nice, which leads me to the bad news. The bad news is I sit here, a man with a broken heart. Frank, I'm very, very sad on this Monday. I'm trying to fight through it. I'm trying to be the grown-up in the room, but it's a tough Monday. You know, it's a very tough Monday, but you guys don't care about how I'm feeling. You don't care about the Bills breaking my heart for yet another season. Although, can I just say, as opposed to last year I was very, very, very sad off the bat. I was like almost depressed. It was a gut punch. It was a shocker. This time I'm sad, but also very mad. You know, when you don't necessarily show up and you get punched in the mouth at home in the snow after the year that they had, only losing 3 games. Yeah, I'm mad. Can I also say one last thing? And I wanted to say it off. I wanted to get off my chest before the show because I didn't want to come across as salty, Frank. But I feel like I should say it here. You know, initially I was like, you know what? The good people of Cincinnati, I'm hoping for the best for all of you. Now I take it back.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I take it back. I don't feel like they've been acting with a lot of class and professionalism, all right? I don't feel like they have... I feel like they are creating this weird narrative like, oh, everyone's against us and they have to sell tickets to the neutral. What do you want them to do? Sell tickets to the AFC Championship on Monday? Like, what did you want them to wait? By the way, they sold tickets to a game that would have been hosted at Cincinnati if the Jags won already. That, like, what is this bizarre us against the world narrative that they're trying to put out? And another thing, how old are the Bengals? Like, GC, off the top of your head, like how old? And by the way, fully aware that I'm coming across very salty here. I mean, you don't need to tell me. But GC, how old are the Bengals? What would you say? Like 40 years old, 50 years old, something like that?
I mean, somewhere in that range. They were going to the Super Bowl in the 80s.
Yeah. This whole like Who Day chant. I mean,
started in the 60s, 67.
Yeah, you know what's the answer to Who Day?
4th, 1967.
The answer to Who Day is everyone. I mean, what do you mean Who Day? Who Day guy is going to beat them Bengals? Everyone beats the Bengals. What are you talking about? Everyone does. I mean, you've never won a Super Bowl. I don't understand this.
Never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but like, what is it? We don't walk around saying Who Day, Who Day. Like, how dare you think that you could beat us? I mean, let's calm down.
And think that Buffalo didn't throw popcorn and drinks at Cincinnati when they were leaving. You know,
we didn't do that. Yeah,
exactly.
You mean like the Rio fans? Like we were all. What do? We donate to your charity. We donate to Andy Dalton's charity. We donate to everyone's charity. I mean, a little class, little decorum. Oh, they had to sell tickets. Oh, the disrespect. All right, get over yourself. Great team. Joe Burrow's the man. Big MMA fan. Nothing bad to say about him. But everything around it, like, Who Day? How dare you think that you could beat the team that never won a Super Bowl? Oh my gosh, the horror. How dare you guys think? How many Super Bowls have the Bengals been in? As recently as last year? Never thought I'd say this, Frank. Go motherfucking Chiefs.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. Go Chiefs. And yesterday afternoon, I was like, you know what? I'm rooting for these guys. You know, hard hat, blue collar town, bad luck over the years, Marvin Lewis 1-15. I take it all back. I'm taking it all back. I don't feel any of that anymore. Didn't act professional, didn't act with class. Oh, they sold tickets. Frank, could you believe they sold tickets? Could you believe? Could you believe the disrespect?
I don't want to forget
Get out of here
the
with this
class they
nonsense.
had on January 2nd, though. Like, that was...
Yeah, it was great. And then what happened?
I mean, I admit it
Then there was a
sucks.
lot of belly aching. Oh, it should be neutral for us. Oh, by the way, may I remind everyone, we had a shot at the number 1 seed too, and that would have helped out tremendously. We would have had to play the sad sack Jaguars. I mean, did you see those bums on Saturday? That would have been great if we played the Jaguars in the divisional round. Anyway, I'm very salty right now, okay? Please don't hold any of this against me. It's going to be 9 months, 9 long months, and I'm very salty. I just had to get that off my chest. Should I have gotten that off my chest before we started the show? Perhaps.
Probably.
Yeah, perhaps. But you know what? I didn't like the way they were acting yesterday. A lot of people are quick to come on my Twitter and make fun. I'm sad. I'm telling you I'm sad. I'm telling you my heart is broken. I have only acted with class and professionalism over here. And what do I get? Kicked in the balls. Didn't even get a "I'm sorry" text from Frank. Nothing.
Bro, I stopped watching on the third quarter.
Yeah, I
It was
know.
done.
I wish I stopped watching. Anyway, now that I get that off my chest, it will happen one day. I'm staring at my Bills sweatshirt, prouder than ever to represent Bills Mafia. Much love. Anyway, let's talk about what we're doing on today's program. As always, of course, we are presented by our good friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. If you want to go to DraftKings Sportsbook and put in the code DMMAR, that lets them know we sent you. And we appreciate that very much. So go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now, download that app, and put in the code DMMA Hour. And if you want to just send them a message, hey, the MMA Hour sent you, even better. We appreciate that very much. Hopefully you did well this past weekend with 283 business, NFL business, NBA business, NHL business. Who knows? A ton to get to. Back into the show, we'll review and recap the weekend. Bit of a controversial one for the Parlay Pals. Few things to get off my chest regarding the Parlay Pals as well. Okay? I don't know if we should do that now or save it for later, but I got a few things to get. I mean, listen.
They're all fired up.
As I said, take the W. Why didn't we take the W? I still don't get it.
So when you presented this argument to us,
we're doing this
actually,
before I even intro the guests.
I mean, that was actually for the under 2.5, which hit.
I always feel I always feel just go with the dub. Go with the easy dub.
The under 2.5 hit. That's what you were arguing against.
Nah, it's not just for that one in particular. It's for all parlays.
All of those?
All parlays. I say never go for the under this, that. It's too volatile. Just go with the easy dub.
I've taken quite a few over-unders. Fight doesn't go the distance.
Yeah,
and,
I always feel uneasy. Always.
I went back through the record. I had hit 11 straight picks prior to losing this one on Saturday.
Listen, I'm not. This is not a knock on you per se.
People made me aware. You went on other outlets. You know, you really.
What other outlets?
You went out. You got your frustrations out. You know, you said you told me so. You told me about the under 2.5. I
haven't done it. What are you talking about?
Listen, people came to me on Twitter. They were like, Ariel is just rampaging on there that he told you so.
Did I
to
say
not
that?
take the under 2.5.
I
The under
did.
2.5 would have hit. Well, what had happened is when I said, listen, I'm going to do a fair for the people. I'm going to take the under 1.5. You should have been like, no. You got to take the under 2.5.
Is this our first fight? I feel like this is our first fight.
Yeah, I would have given you more credit if that was the case. But
Rick's over there eating
popcorn.
popcorn. Listen, I feel like I've made my stance known over the years. Just go for the easy dub. But I listen, I respect what you're trying to do. You're trying to get the line down to make people money, all this stuff. I couldn't give a fuck about that. I'm just trying to keep Frank out of this thing for as long as possible. And had you taken Jalton Almeida dub, we'd still be alive.
Had I taken Jalton Almeida under 2.5, we would still be alive. It was
sure.
moving to the
and if
1.5.
my aunt had she'd be my uncle. I mean, come on. What are we talking about?
I just can't get down with you disagreeing with fight doesn't go decision or props when I almost always hit them. We've been doing this for 6 months. This is the first time I've been the one.
There was another one. Well, Frank. Wasn't there one with Frank?
Cost the parlay.
Wasn't there one with Frank?
Oh, that's Aljamain Sterling.
This is my stance against you per se. This is my stance on this type of thinking all the time. It's too volatile, in my opinion. It's so much could go wrong.
Didn't DraftKings require us to do a pick like that?
No, we never really
it?
followed that. That just kind of happened for us. One thing that I will say to add controversy to this, the Parlay Pals did get posted on the DraftKings Sportsbook
For the first time?
No.
Oh.
It happens almost every pay-per-view. But they posted the incorrect pick for me, and it was Bond Theme versus Laces under 1.5 instead of Almeida.
Oh my
And
God.
it was like plus 215. So if anyone took that, they hit actually, which is hilarious.
That is incredible. Did anyone mention that to you?
Yeah, someone hit me up, and then when I hit up DraftKings, it was way too late in the game. It was like 5:30 when I hit them up. They were like, "All right, we'll just pull it now." But a few people have taken that, so if they took it, they did hit.
You see, I want to know who's causing dissension within the team here. Number one, who's telling you that I'm talking shit?
Someone on Twitter.
I literally just started the show bringing this up, so that shows you where my integrity lies. It's not like I wait, but here's the thing. It seemed like you were holding on to something because you didn't mention it beforehand, and you came out swinging right off the bat. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Really swinging. It was just that I was aware of what you were going to say. Because I responded back to the Twitter person, and I was just like,
"What'd you say?"
Like, they're like, "Man, Ariel's going crazy. He told you."
Crazy?
They gave me in all caps that he told you so, and then like all these laughing emojis. Now I'm getting this tweet like freshly off of just getting wrecked on bets of my own. I'm just like, "Oh, this guy, my God!" So I knew you were gonna come.
Wow, this is crazy.
I had to be prepped. I had to know what I was.
Did you listen to it, or are you pulling a Paddy Pimblett? See? Yeah, you see, there you go. You're pulling a Paddy Pimblett. Once again, people on Twitter.
It's probably worse than I'm imagining.
I think I talked about Jalton Almeida for 0.4 seconds on Saturday. I think that's
then you missed the lead. You buried the lead.
And it was just
UFC 283.
And by the way, the only thing I mentioned was that we screwed up the Parlay Pals. That was it. And then I moved on.
Not that his dominant performance is breaking records.
No, it's just get the dub, get the easy dub. Anyway, great start to the show. I feel like we're getting a lot out here. We're letting our feelings out. This is healthy. It's okay. New York Rick not saying anything. By the way, do you agree with me, New York Rick?
I do not.
Wow. Now I feel 2 knives in my back. Why?
I mean,
go for the easy dub.
No,
what is the knives in your back? You're coming at us right now, okay? We're happy being a good team. You're trying to...
Here's the problem. You view it as an easy dub. It is fundamentally not different. Taking a money line fighter versus taking an over-under is not fundamentally different as long as the odds are priced properly and as long as the person who is placing the bet, in Connor Burks, who I trust unequivocally, is choosing the right side of it. So therefore, they're no different. They're not a different bet at all as long as the odds are priced properly.
Let's also say, like, if anyone's getting flowers this week, it's Rick for his Jessica Andrade pick.
I mean, maybe I could have gone a little
Josie
spicier.
Nunez got sweaty.
Although I would have picked.
By the way, one of the greatest comebacks in the history of the UFC. I mean, she was literally a punch away from losing, and she comes back valiantly. I'm not sure how much I agree with that, but no, your pick was great too. I mean, Almeida won. It just felt like let's go for the easy dub. Anyway, this is a good primer, if you will, a good foreshadowing for us to actually talk about all this later in the program. Let me tell you about the rest of the show. Luke Rockhold is going to join us. Luke Rockhold has a few things to get off his chest as well, so you want to stay tuned for that. A lot of people well, you have Luke Rockhold on. Well, there's a reason, all right? There's always a reason. That's at 3:30. At 3 o'clock, we'll be joined by John Kavanagh. It's been a while since we had John Kavanagh on the show. I'm looking forward to that. He had a big weekend, obviously, in Brazil. His first time in Brazil. Johnny Walker looked great. What a finish for Johnny Walker on Saturday. That was one of the more unique finishes that you'll ever see against Paul Craig, one of the better fights on the card. In total, it was a great card. It went on forever. There were 15 fights, and it kind of started hot, and then it got a little depressing during the Shogun fight. Main card was okay. I would say the prelims were better. Anyway, first fight on the main card was Johnny Walker. We'll talk to John Kavanagh about that. At 2:30, we'll talk to Jiri Prochazka, who, in my opinion, and I want to ask the guys this very question, who is the best light heavyweight on the planet? My opinion, he's still the best light heavyweight as of right now, regardless of what happened on Saturday. And of course, you know by now, Jamahal Hill is the new champ. That's not taking anything away from him, but he was somewhat of a beneficiary of the weird circumstances back in December with the injury, and then the fight that went to a draw, and then, of course, getting the fight against Glover Teixeira. So we'll get to Jiri's thoughts on everything that went down on Saturday. And Sayif Saud will stop by, who, of course, was working with Brandon Moreno as of like a month and change or so ago. Moreno wins, rivalry over. He's the flyweight champion. And then how about Deiveson Figueiredo taking off the gloves to announce that he was moving up to 135? A real swerve there. We got 2 official retirements on Saturday. 1, Shogun Rua, we knew that was coming. 2, Glover Teixeira, thought if he lost that was coming. We see Figueiredo take off the gloves. Never seen someone take off the gloves to announce that they were moving to a different weight class. I kind of liked it.
Totally intentional, right?
Well, what do you mean by that?
Like he was wanting people to think, oh, he's going to retire.
I don't think so. I think he was trying to make the move feel very important.
Yeah, it got the watch party was a little fooled by it, though. They were like, oh, he took the gloves off.
Oh, I mean, I think everyone was. I was watching that. I was like, oh my God, is Figueiredo done? Has he had enough? And then it was just to announce that he was moving up to 35, which, remember, on Monday of last week, I asked him about that. He said he will eventually move to 35, but if Cejudo's champ, he won't fight him. Or even if he becomes champ, he won't even go up, I guess, after this weight cut. And he looks so skinny. It's just, I think he has like 0.2% body fat. When he's cutting to 25, he is so vascular when he's cutting down to 25. It's almost a bit jarring. So probably in his best interest to move up, healthy. He'll be small for the weight class in terms of, height, but I'm very curious to see what they do with him and how they book him. So let's talk to the guys. I mean, we talked to them already, but, in an official capacity about the card. And let's start with the light heavyweight fight, the title fight. Obviously, we all thought that there was a chance that Jamahal Hill could win this fight. I will be honest, I thought even as he was up 2-0, I was like, all right, if Glover gets the fight to the ground, I still think he can win this fight. And we saw, I think he got him down with around 2.5 minutes in the third. And I was like, uh-oh, here it comes. Credit to Jamahal Hill. He survived. And he survived multiple times. A couple of takedown stuffs here, a couple of scrambles there. I mean, overall, impressive stuff. Went the distance. The cardio wasn't a factor. People said it was going to be a factor. It wasn't a factor. And he pretty much beat up Glover Teixeira to the point that Glover said, I'm done. I'm going to retire now. I don't want to do this anymore. Impressive. And for me, a bit surprising just how dominant he was. New York Rick, what did you think?
Yeah, similar thoughts. I think he answered all the questions, right? What is his defensive grappling going to be good enough to keep Glover Teixeira off him? And he proved it was. When it was early, it was stuffing takedowns. When it was late, it was escaping and keeping himself out of danger while Glover was in his guard. So yeah, I expected to find out, just as Jamahal Hill mentioned on our show, whether he expected to find out, whether he was ready to be a championship level fighter. And to me, he answered those questions and showed that he was. I would have predicted if it was going to be a fight that goes 5 rounds, it might be Glover's fight.
Yeah.
Not because of a question about Jamahal Hill's cardio, just more of a question of the power kind of fades as you go, right? Are you going to be able to land the more devastating and dangerous blows as the fight goes on? Glover is somebody who's shown that he can be just as dangerous in the 5th as in the 1st because he's always in a fight. He has an insanely, I can't even describe his toughness. I can't even describe his chin. It's inhuman. I don't even know what to make of it. So I would have thought the longer it went, it would have favored Teixeira. But I was very impressed by Jamahal Hill. He answered all the questions that I think people had about him, and now people are excited about the potential new matchups for him at light heavyweight.
There were 2 fights on that card on Saturday that I thought, oh man, I just wish that the fight would end, like someone would stop this fight. The Murphy-Andrade fight was getting a little bit uncomfortable, and this fight, I knew for a fact they would not stop the Glover fight, meaning the corner wouldn't stop it because they had to have known, hey, like in the back, he's probably like, if I lose, this is my last one, like just let me go out on my shield here. And clearly he wasn't upset about that. I think, you saw him in between, I think it was the 4th and 5th, maybe the 3rd and 4th. I think it was the 4th and 5th where he was like, oh, come on, let's go.
Yeah, 4th and 5th, going into the 5th round.
Yeah. So, I mean, who can say anything bad? And one good thing about the last year and a half or so, I feel like our respect and admiration and just the attention shown towards Glover has grown a lot. Like, meaning, I'm happy that he's getting these moments. I'm happy that we're able to talk to him like this. I'm happy that he got the belt back in 2021, and I'm happy he got the moment in Brazil. But clearly at this point, like, there's nothing else to do. He needs to walk away. He doesn't need to take any more damage, and he's accomplished it all. He got the belt. He climbed the mountaintop. No mas.
Completely shifted how he's viewed in the later stage of his career. And nothing left to do at that point. Like, he did it. He did all the things that you completely changed the narrative around how his career is going to be remembered in the second half of it. And now there's nothing left for him to do. He captured that title. He showed people how great he could be for a sustained amount of time. As he said many times, people thought he was long in the tooth when he made it to the UFC. Then he had an entire incredible run. 0 left for that man to prove. I will push back a little bit on the idea that there's a similarity between the Andrade fight and the Glover fight.
How so? My only point there is like you could have made a case for that fight being stopped as well.
Oh my gosh. No. I actually agree with you, Ariel. I think there was a serious case, especially in that third round. It started getting uncomfortable to watch. It was Lauren Murphy had
She was not doing
absolutely
anything.
nothing for Jessica Andrade. At that point, she was just taking unnecessary damage.
And that's where I agree. But where I disagree is I don't think the Glover and Hill fight should have been stopped.
No, but to the point where I was like, man, he is taking a serious amount of damage.
taking
I
a
wasn't
serious
calling
amount of
for
damage.
it, but
He's fighting back. That's the difference in those fights. Lauren Murphy had 0
got it.
in return for Jessica Andrade. She had nothing. She was getting beat from pillar to post. There was no offense being mounted. She was just getting hammered. Glover Teixeira, he has made his career, at least the latter stage of this, the last half of this, on being in the fight in the 5th round and showing offense. And there was no point in that fight where I thought he's just a sitting duck. Yes, he took a lot of damage. Yes, it's not a great way to go out. Yes, it's uncomfortable. But there's a huge difference to me in terms of what the offense looked like in return from Glover in that fight versus what Lauren Murphy was giving back to Jessica Andrade, which was 0. That was just a one-sided beatdown.
By the way, true or false, Glover Teixeira was given more leeway.
Oh, 100%
False.
true.
Wait, you don't even know what I'm about to say.
More leeway than
Then
for
Israel
Then Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, we didn't.
Yes.
Izzy was fighting
same
back
rep.
too, you know.
Izzy was fighting back. He was moving around.
No. That second round with like 3 minutes to go. No, 3 minutes to go in like the third round when Hill wobbled him bad, got him on the ground, and then is just laying down ground and pound. And like even the commentators are like, oh man, are they going to stop the fight? Goddard saying, you have to fight back. You have to fight back. Like, he definitely gave more leeway than he did to Israel Adesanya.
I'm sorry. And I love Mark Goddard. I would put him right now as the best ref in the game. Honestly, number one.
You disagree?
I disagree. Israel Adesanya was a sitting duck
He was
against one of the
moving.
hardest hitters in MMA history. It was not the
He
same.
literally had
And he
one
was-
bad moment
he
in
was-
that fight. He had one bad moment of 20 seconds. That was it.
Yeah, that's a bad 20 seconds against a guy like Alex. That's
Glover had a
real
lot of bad
20 seconds.
moments.
Different. That
Yes, Glover
was
got
about-
wobbled bad on several occasions.
he
I
was
think
about
Goddard
to be.
was like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
Oh.
About to be. I mean,
See, Frank,
that's a
you agree.
fair-
You agree.
I think that Izzy was stopped early.
Yes. Finally, someone
it may
admits
have
it.
played into his mind. It's completely fair to ask that question. Disagree that those were the same stop.
GC, who's the best light heavyweight on the planet?
Oh gosh, wow, that's a tough question. I mean, I'm gonna still say Jiri Prochazka. I think he has the best claim to the belt. Obviously, he doesn't hold it, but Jamahal Hill, the way that he impressed on Saturday, it's a tough argument to make against him. I mean, the way that he handled the grappling of Glover Teixeira, like I really thought he was going to be cooked when it got to the ground, and Glover had several opportunities. I mean, even in that 5th round, it felt like, when him coming out into the 5th round being like, let's go, in the back of his mind, he's knowing this is it. Like, I'm down on the scorecards. There's no chance. And then he immediately gets it to the ground at the start of the 5th round. And I mean, Hill handled it well. And then on the feet, it was as one-sided gets. I mean, Glover obviously had moments, but when you look at the statistics, like, he outdid him bad. I really want to see Hill Jiri.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that'll stamp on who's
What a
the best
fun
light
fight that
heavyweight
would
in
be,
the world.
right?
Oh
I mean,
my
I see
God.
no scenario where that
Fantastic.
fight is boring. Here's the
There's
big
no way.
question. Yuri's timeline, which we'll obviously talk to him in about an hour about that. If he can't come back, he doesn't have to come back in the next 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. He had surgery not that long ago. I mean,
I hope he doesn't. By the way,
No.
I think Hill fights one more time before we see Jiri.
oh, so that's the problem. Who does he fight?
I mean, that is the problem. I think it needs to be one of Magomed or
I was
Jan.
gonna say you give Magomed an
Which one?
I think.
Why
I think
Magomed?
Kobe-
Why not Jan?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how you decide
I don't-
between the two. They drew in the fight.
Sure.
Honestly, they
Uh,
should fight again. Well, how could you?
Oh God, I don't know if Dana White and the UFC
by the
are
way,
gonna do that one.
by the way,
again.
it wasn't that bad of a fight.
I agree with you,
It really
but the way they've marketed it. What's
You're
the
telling me
promo?
one of these
They-
BS fight nights can't use that as a main event?
Okay, so they roll out the main event. The promo tape is what? Dana White being like, "That's the worst fight I've ever seen. Let's book the."
No.
Jan did say when the fight ended, he was like, "Give him the belt." Like I didn't win
I'd
this
be
fight. I
okay
know
with
he's
either.
changed his stance since, but like,
Here's what I think is a more interesting conversation because I don't know the answer to who's the best light heavyweight in the world, but I think that creates an interesting conversation around. Could it be somebody who's in Bellator? Could it be somebody who's in PFL? Could it be somebody who's in one championship or another promotion? I think that's an interesting conversation because I don't know that the lineage of this title has not been put in a position where we think that the UFC champion is automatically the best light heavyweight in the world. I think there's a conversation that could be had that maybe it's somebody from another promotion until that belt kind of stays with somebody for a while.
Vadim Nemkov versus Jamahal Hill. Who wins?
Is that a fight? I mean, that's a fight, right?
Oh,
that's
it's
not a fight.
1,000% a fight.
That's not a fight where I go, oh, wow, Bellator is going to get their doors blown off or get their brakes beaten off. Like, that's a fight. And, I mean, Corey Anderson is a legit light heavyweight. Like, you could put him in a fight with a UFC guy right now, and that's a legit fight. So I think that's the more interesting conversation is, like, is Jamahal Hill going to establish order in that division and prove himself to be the best light heavyweight in the world? That will be very interesting.
By the way, number one, I thought you were going to say John Jones is the best light heavyweight on the planet. I thought.
Oh, well, if he could ever make that weight class again, he is.
No, I just,
but he's not going to.
And number two, kind of a shame that Nemkov isn't fighting in 2 weeks on CBS, because that would have been a great thing for Bellator to say, like, this is the best light heavyweight. Like, we've got the best light heavyweight. You know what I mean?
Man, you got me thinking. Couldn't light heavyweight use John Jones more than heavyweight could? I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh, 1,000%.
If he just went down, I don't think it's not worth the discussion. He's too big now.
No, and I just feel like if you look at his last few performances, he needed this. He needed this challenge. He needed this thing. You know, like, oh, I'm going to prove everyone wrong. I would love to see it. The question. So, okay, what about this curveball? And it got a little bit weird after what happened on Friday. Is there any scenario in which Anthony Smith gets the title shot, because they were supposed to fight in March? They took
a better story.
He's a lot more well known. The problem is he missed the weight on Friday, which I don't think.
I don't care.
Yeah, it sucks for him. He doesn't get
missed the
paid
weight on Friday, and he's coming off of a loss to Magomed.
Coming off a loss, missed the weight. They were supposed to fight. Super weird in retrospect. He was sitting in the locker room with Jamahal Hill when they were showing the shots on Saturday. And there's a story. Tell me,
it's 2023 and we're still talking about like meritocracy, like losses, like that matters.
It's just he's got a few things going against him. Here's the thing: it's infinitely more sellable, in my opinion, than Magomed Ankalaev. That's why I feel like we should bring up Anthony Smith.
Let's do it. I'm all in.
All right.
Let's do it. I mean, the guy who I feel bad is kind of being left out is Rakic, right? Like,
okay, I spoke to Rakic, hoping to return around June or so the timing could work out. But you're going to come back after an injury like that to a title fight? I mean,
well, that's the thing.
Also, coming off of a loss to Jan Blachowicz.
Right. It's nothing's clean here. Well, it was a weird loss.
A weird loss, right? Like he got injured. There's no, but this is my point.
I just feel like it should be one of Magomed or Jan that gets
not Smith. Not Smith.
Could be.
I do not think so. No.
I think it becomes a bigger fight with Smith, so I wouldn't have a problem with it. And I think nobody here has established like I'm the guy.
How about Johnny Walker?
I'll take that too.
By the way, he's not that far away all of a sudden.
I mean, he beat Paul Craig, who has a win over Jamahal Hill and Magomed Ankalaev.
The guy who we all kind of wrote off as being like a clown, now all of a sudden is like, oh, maybe he's coming into his own. Who would have thought? I mean, by the way, we have a clip of me talking to Jamahal Hill. Can we pull up this clip real quick? It's February, I believe, of 2022, right? Is it February? I'm pretty sure that's the first time he was on. And I asked him a very quick parting shot question. This is what he said. Finish this sentence for me if you can. Jamahal Hill will be UFC champion by?
In the next year.
In the next year. This time next year, you're champion already.
In the next year.
Okay, so in the next year, is that 365 days? Is that by the time 2023 is over? Either way you slice it, it has been less than 365 days since he said that to me. Pretty damn incredible. I will be honest, when he said that, I was like, I don't know if I see the path, but I love the confidence. He freaking nailed it. Pretty incredible.
It'd be impossible to see the path. Like the amount of things the dominoes that had to fall, but he got the opportunity and he capitalized on it, and now he's the light heavyweight champion of the world. In less than 365 days since he said that. I mean, it's insane.
And nothing has changed. There's lots of people who are in Jamahal Hill's position that we're talking about that could be in a title fight in less than 365 days. There is no order in that division. There is no hierarchy. There is no established kind of like tiers. It all needs to be sorted, and they need to fight each other to figure this out. But I would be open to nearly anybody who's ranked getting a title shot, to be honest.
So you bring up a great point. You know, when someone, like, he was very emotional afterwards. He's been through a lot. His backstory is inspirational. We talked about it on the show. At one point, it seemed like he had no path to just even get to the UFC, let alone be a champion. But when someone wins a belt for the first time and is very emotional, and, you know, 205 has long been a glamour. This is Chuck Liddell's weight class. This is Tito Ortiz's weight class. This is John Jones's weight class. Rampage Jackson.
Daniel Cormier.
It's a glamour division. Dare I say, with a richer history than heavyweight. When in boxing, heavyweight is the glamour division, and 205, if you will, cruiserweight, whatever, isn't necessarily that. I know 205 is less than cruiserweight. You get the point. Anyway, because this wasn't Leon Edwards having to scratch and claw, because this wasn't a guy who has had to go through, but like it almost seems, and again, this is not me hating, but there's a bit of a backdoor element to this. I mean, we just had a light heavyweight title fight. He was booked in a fight. Like, they didn't see him as a number one contender just yet. He was booked in a fight against Anthony Smith in March. Is that why the main event didn't feel as emotional to us viewers? No.
I felt that emotion.
You did?
I mean, we don't have to go further back than the name you mentioned, John Jones. He slid into a title shot against Shogun Rua when Rashad Evans got injured.
But but the difference is John Jones beat the guy. John Jones beat the champ.
There is no guy. There is no guy in that division. There is no guy. There was no guy. When John Jones left, that guy was gone. There was no guy. I feel the emotion. I feel what he went through. And it didn't have to be in front of the UFC audience for us to kind of understand it. Like, he's been working his whole life and his whole career for that. I felt that. I felt that big time. And I think almost the compressed timeline almost makes it more emotional, if I'm being honest. The idea that, like, it couldn't have been real a year ago and then became real, that he thought maybe this was going to be a longer path, and then all of a sudden had to kick it into higher gear on that short a timeline. Went from watching on TV and a fight booked against Anthony Smith to an opportunity where he's going to get the title. That can mess with you, and that can make you crumble, and that can make you fold in the moment against a guy like Glover, who has been doing this for multiple decades. I felt every moment of that. I felt it intensely, actually.
Yeah, I actually sat with Rick because in another interview you did with Jamahal Hill, he talks about like getting the answer on January 21st, and he just like, it almost seems like he's in disbelief, and then just like there's just something about seeing a moment where you know that someone's all their dreams just became true like that. Like when you're watching the NFL draft, the NBA draft, like a moment like that, you can just tell like all their hard work has just paid off for them. Like dreams are actually getting realized in front of our eyes.
I agree with your point, though. Like, we've been on the journey with Leon, right? We've all been along for the ride and seen it and seen every step, brick by brick. And I get why that can be emotional, but I think this was just as interesting a story. And I said this on the watch party. Connor and Mike do an amazing watch party for the pay-per-views. Shout out to those guys. This is almost like, this win almost doesn't have the impact it will ultimately have right now in this moment until we know what happens next. Like, the win itself is going to either age better or worse depending on what happens next, and that's what I'm kind of excited about. If Jamahal Hill goes on a run, this win becomes the moment that changed everything, and now he's this champion who's able to hold it and go on a long run. Or if he doesn't, it becomes more of its musical chairs. The moment kind of blends in and becomes insignificant. Like Yuri's title reign was supposed to be like, okay, now Yuri's here. Right. The division's going to be on track. He's gone. And he's hoping to get a title fight. What happens from here is going to determine how this moment ultimately is viewed in history.
Can I throw out another crazy thought? It feels like at 185, we have a champion who has the number of the former champion, Israel Adesanya. A lot of people think they fight 10 times, he wins 8, 9, whatever it is.
Yep.
However, the rest of the weight class, and maybe even the MMA community, don't necessarily think he's the baddest 85er on the planet. They say things like, oh, once Bo Nickel gets him, or Khamzat could even go up and get, you know what I mean? Like, it feels like he's like the least respected of the champions right now in the UFC. Yep. However, there is a scenario where I feel like he could be a double champ.
Agreed.
Like, who wins that?
Massive.
Who wins that fight? Isn't that weird though? The guy that no one respects, or not no one, but like is getting a lot of disrespect at 85, is actually the guy who could also beat the 205 champion right now. Yeah. Like, you couldn't necessarily say that if Glover was champ. Obviously, relationship aside,
you also probably couldn't say that if Israel was champ.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, I've been thinking about that like ever since. It'd be just such a perfect story that like Jamahal Hill beats Glover Teixeira, retires him, and then Glover Teixeira's boy, Alex Pereira, goes up to try to become double champ. Like, I feel like there's no way it happens until Pereira has a defense at middleweight. But
especially against Izzy, right? You got to do the Izzy fight first.
But man, that would just be you talk about selling a fight, like, and you think Anthony Smith, Jamahal Hill has sellability. I mean, Alex Pereira, Jamahal Hill, that would be unbelievable.
These double champ things just muck too much stuff up.
Oh, I know.
Alex Volkanovski has done so much to be able to earn it. When you beat Max Holloway 3 times, I don't care. Like, you could pick your fight. You could fight at
Dominant
170 if you want.
too.
I don't even care. You have to get to that level before I'm willing to have that conversation. But if you're asking right now, if you plop them into a fight with Jamahal Hill, would he be competitive? Abso-freaking-lutely.
Incredibly competitive,
Absolutely
if not
freaking
winning it.
Can I tell you my biggest disappointment of the night on Saturday? Not any result, not, didn't throw in the towel, whatever the case.
Mhm.
I thought the crowd
Yeah, I knew you were going to
was
say that.
super
I'm with you.
underwhelming, right? I mean, we had heard so much about how they're excited to be back, blah, 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 blah. At one point, I actually WhatsApped Guilherme, and I was like, is this crowd dead or what's going on here? Because on television, it came across as completely dead. They would pop up here. They would pop, like, even for the Shogun stuff, quiet. For Figueiredo, quiet. You heard a couple of Uva Mohed, nothing. And I'm not even talking about them throwing stuff in Moreno, which is like,
not good.
what the fuck was that? I mean, what is this? 1970s Memphis wrestling, throwing stuff at the guy because he beat your guy? Like, they hugged it out, like, chill out. But it just felt like the crowd was dead. By the end of the night, ton of empty seats. It was just weird. Was that not a very underwhelming, disappointing crowd? Like,
It felt like in the beginning, like with the prelim fights, obviously Brazilians being on every single fight, it felt like in the beginning the crowd was really there. Anytime there was a big moment for a Brazilian in the fights, you could hear them go crazy. But it felt like as the night went on, it never really amped up with the amping up of the card. Like,
yeah, the stakes, right.
Yeah, like it felt decent in the beginning, but it felt like it never really crescendoed. Like I thought they were going to be going absolutely bananas throughout that entire main card. Like Johnny Walker, a guy from Brazil, Andrade, Burns, like I thought they would be going bananas, and it never really felt like that energy was there. I feel like the moment I noticed it the most was when they were introducing Glover, and I was like, man, crowd doesn't really seem that loud.
No. And yes, it was a little bit later, right? They're 2 hours ahead. So by the time those guys are walking, it's 2 a.m. or so, but there's 30-something other Brazil cards from back in the day, which, they were playing with the same set of rules. I don't know if it was because the ticket prices were higher, and so maybe that brings in a different kind of fan. I don't know, but I was a little bit disappointed.
I mean, I was saying all along they should have put this in the Apex.
Fuck.
That's all. I'm
That's
just
a great point, actually.
I mean, listen,
I'm just saying.
that underwhelming crowd 1,000 times better than anything at the Apex, but still, I was expecting a little more.
That's fair.
And a reminder of
My
just how great
expectations
those
too.
European crowds are, right? Even, I mean, forget about UK. Like, even the Paris crowd was fantastic, singing the freaking national anthem in the middle of the main event. It was unbelievable.
1 and 2 crowds of the year.
Yeah.
Like it's different levels.
Just wait till they come back to Canada. It's gonna be lit.
Spain, Ilya Taporia, let's go there.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. Let's talk about. Can we talk about a place that they should go? Mexico. I mean,
God.
by the way, what a time for Mexican MMA. Moreno back as champion. You got Alexa Grasso fighting for the belt. Let's see what happens. Yair Rodriguez, the month before, just a few weeks' time, fighting for the featherweight title.
Yep.
We suspect Aldana. Interim, yes. We suspect Aldana fights Nunes, maybe April, maybe in New York City, not Brooklyn, maybe New York City. Stay tuned.
Oh, what?
Okay.
There's a lot going on, and I'm definitely forgetting a bunch of people off the top of my head, but those are the ones fighting for the belt. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, we've got Raul Rojas, we've got who else? There's a bunch. Mexican MMA has never been better, healthier, more exciting. A card in Mexico with some of those names would be incredible. But what about Brandon Moreno? This guy having to lose his head coach, who he was. I know they hadn't been working together forever, but it seemed like they created a real bond. All that, tumultuousness, if you will. New head coach, some familiar faces, great. I saw a documentary which I tweeted earlier, in which they showed. It's called the Last Dance. Brandon Moreno's, I think, UFC 283 documentary on YouTube is the name. He seemed to have injured his knee pretty badly just a few weeks ago. And I know everyone goes through stuff, but this seemed somewhat serious. Goes in there, enemy territory, and I thought was winning 3-0, right? I thought that he was up 3-0, and I don't think there was anything controversial about that. I said on Saturday, if they didn't have the history, I bet you could spin that into a little bit of controversy in that, it was somewhat unceremonious. This was a fight that he was going to win. It was very clear. And he's the best flyweight on the planet. And it's an amazing story. And now I'm excited. Like, Alexandre Pantoja is not a household name, but they've got a history. And if they sell it correctly, the history on Tough, his last UFC fight before he got released as they were weeding out all the flyweights. Now he's the champ fighting this guy who's patiently been waiting for his shot. Interesting times at 125. What do you guys think? GC, I know you love this weight class.
Oh, it's one of I love the both ends of the spectrum. I love heavyweight, love flyweight. Yeah, I mean, how can you not be excited about it if you count the tough fight, which was a real fight? I know it doesn't go on their official records, but Alexander Pantoja has 2 wins over Brandon Moreno. I mean, I don't know how you can't sell it. That has to be the main focal point. He's coming for the belt. He's 2-0 against this guy, and he has full intentions of getting it. I mean, I think that is the most obvious fight to make. They met up afterwards behind the scenes. And yeah, I can't wait for that one. I think it's going to be fireworks.
Almost more interesting than talking about that fight right now is talking about Figgy's future, right? How do you book this guy? Man. Because if you look at the top of the bantamweight division, a lot of those guys are booked, right? We suspect that Aljo is going to fight Henry Cejudo if they wait for Aljo to come back, and I don't think he's going to fight on that March 4th card, but I'm not hearing otherwise. It's all very much up in the air. We know that Jan and Merab are going to be fighting in March. Tremendous fight. We know that Marlon and Corey are going to be fighting in February. We've got the Rob Fonts and the Dominic Cruzes of the world. And it's not like you have to book Figgy just yet. Obviously, the eye messed up. He's going to need some time. He just went through a crazy fight, weight cut, all that stuff. Is it crazy, though, to suggest Figgy versus Sean O'Malley off the bat?
Odd man out. Let's do it. I think Figueiredo is going to have a really rough time at bantamweight.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest.
I mean the height, right? The height, the reach.
I think flyweight was the division where he was going to be successful. I would not expect that he has a great run at bantamweight, if I'm being honest.
I saw someone put out, obviously he's booked, but I felt like Petr Yan versus Figgy would have been fantastic.
I mean, he could fight the winner of that fight easily. He's not coming back tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
That's probably the most fun fight for him, but he's going to be facing either a bunch of wrestlers or a bunch of dudes who have longer reach and much more physical attributes over him, which is just a bad combination.
He's 35 now. Maybe at bantamweight he just does fun fights.
Yeah. He's also just not a high volume guy either. He's going to be in there with guys who I just think, from a technical standpoint, it's going to be very
Figgy
hard
versus Rob Font, Dominic Cruz.
But what happens when Rob Font just sticks him on the end of a jab?
No, I know it's a tough spot.
Bad.
It's a really tough spot.
What would O'Malley's height advantage be over him?
Yeah, it's dramatic.
Jed, you know what? So Jed Meshew dropped in here. I like this one. Figgy and Garbrandt. That's a fight. That's a fight. Give me that one. I'll take that all day.
He catches him and just puts him out.
Yeah,
I'll take that all day. That's a great.
As his intro, doesn't Garbrandt have a fight coming up? I mean, again, he could.
They were trying desperately to get him against Ronnie Yahya, I think.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how he does, because I think build-wise, height-wise, reach-wise, flyweight is the weight class for him.
For sure.
The cut is just too difficult.
The cut is too much, but yeah, I mean, sure, why not? I think he's earned a top name. If he comes into the division and says, I want a top guy off the bat, I think he's earned that by his flyweight title run. I think for sure he's earned that. He should be able to ask what he wants. There's
great symbolism in the fact that Moreno's fighting Pantoja, we suspect, for the belt, because this was the fight that got him out of the UFC. So flyweight at one point was on its deathbed, now very much alive and well. You want to say something?
I was going to say, I know this is unpopular, but I would watch Figueiredo and Moreno again. Sorry, I just would.
For a fifth time? I mean, obviously.
I'd watch it. But I want to see Moreno Pantoja.
I could see a world. I can picture it already. I can see the tweets already where Captain Eric and Henry are in his ear saying the eye was the thing.
Of course, that's what I said. It's sellable.
Start pretending that that was the determining factor, and now we're gonna fight again.
But it's not fair to Pantoja. It's not fair to.
I also don't think the UFC is gonna be super gung ho about doing that again. But man, I would watch those two fight forever.
UFC brass has to be so happy that Moreno won. Not because they don't like Figgy, but to have a Mexican-born champion is huge for them.
Oh, he just has such a great story too.
So likable.
Yeah.
Very easy to root for.
They're both of those guys. They kept this division afloat at a time when it was not a glamour division, and made it into something. And now it's exciting again. And now there's people who want to watch the flyweights. They both deserve a ton of credit. This rivalry, this is one of the best rivalries in UFC history, in my opinion.
Gilbert Burns, dominant win over Neil Magny. Unfortunately, it seems like every time Magny gets one of these big time spots, despite the fact that he has the most wins in the history of 170, doesn't prevail. Afterwards, I thought he would go the Bilal route. Burns went the Colby route. Colby's status very much up in the air.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
If Khamzat is coming back to 170, to me, the fight to make is Colby versus Khamzat and Burns versus Bilal. I love that, that 2-pack of fights.
I say you shoot for the moon and land on the stars.
If you're who?
If you're Gilbert.
Sure.
Fall for Colby, settle for Bilal if you have to.
Sure. The thing is, like with Colby, we are approaching a year since the Masvidal fight.
Yeah.
And, he used to be omnipresent in terms of media, in terms of being out there on social media. Like he has pretty much become MIA for whatever reason. Feels like he's lost all that momentum. Still, if they book Colby versus Khamzat, that would be a massive, massive fight. And there was talks that they wanted to do it over the summer and then maybe in the UK. We're not hearing anything at the moment, and that card is less than 2 months away. Which route would you go if both guys are available? If everyone is available, what do you do with Gilbert? Do you do the not the Khamzat fight, the Colby fight, or do you do the Bilal fight?
I would do it exactly how you laid it out, but
is that going to happen?
There's too much unknown. We really don't know. We haven't heard a peep from Colby Covington. Like, we don't know what the hell's going on.
It seems like Khamzat, from all like pictures and videos that are coming out of him lately and the things that he's saying, like he's just standing by waiting for someone to accept the fight against him.
Okay, so here's the thing. If Colby is just MIA and doesn't want to fight.
Gilbert versus Khamzat.
Again?
What? Again? That fight was amazing.
I know, but we just saw it.
Yeah,
So
but does Chimaev take that? I feel like Chimaev would not take that.
Do it again. Nah, I don't think Khamzat Chimaev's in the business of turning down fights.
I
don't think he's doing
whatever he wants.
I don't think he's doing would turn it down because he's scared to fight Gilbert Burns again. I just feel like the upward trajectory, like if he's even going to stay at 170.
In that case, just wait for a title shot then. If you're not going to fight, Khamzat, just wait for a title shot. I think you would fight
Or would you do Khamzat versus Bilal?
I'm down for that.
Sure.
But then what do you do with Gilbert?
That. But this becomes a conversation. This conversation all basically becomes who's the next person to fight Khamzat. That's what this. That's what.
Well, he's the big. He's the big fish.
He's the big draw. But also, these three guys we're talking about Colby, Gilbert, and Bilal. All could be contenders, but they're all just going to have to go through Khamzat. It just becomes who's going to fight Khamzat.
Let me throw out two other names.
Khamzat needs to fight for the belt.
Gilbert versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson?
No.
I mean,
wait, what? You talk about
we
just saw Khamzat.
Yeah.
We just saw that, and that was a
he's coming
beatdown.
off. He's coming off a win. Okay, fine. Okay, hey, I had another one, but this one is kind of unfair to Gilbert. If he gets by Jeff Neal, Gilbert versus Shavkat.
Oh man,
Gilbert would take it. I'll tell you that.
Yes, Gilbert would
That'd
definitely
be a freaking. I mean, what a test for Shavkat.
Well, then we'd really get to see how good is.
Here's the problem with welterweight. It has now become Leon versus Kamaru.
Yeah,
and then Khamzat or Gilbert, Bilal, whoever versus the two guys that everybody thinks is going to murder everybody else in the division in Shavkat and Khamzat. They've become essentially They've become prey for these two guys. I don't love that. I think do Gilbert versus Bilal if Khamzat's being cast aside for Colby. Let them both sit and wait for it, or get them in the mix. Let's just stop waiting around for this.
I see. I couldn't agree more, and I also feel like Gilbert and Bilal. I know Gilbert last fought in April, but they are the ones who are active in game and don't seem to need like a lot of leeway. And
They'll take a fight.
So let's just make that fight. Why does it seem like Bilal isn't interested in that fight?
Because he's worked very hard, and he had a lot of people not want to fight with him to get these opportunities.
Right now, according to the UFC, they're 4-5, and you can make a very strong case that Gilbert should be ranked above him. I don't know. To me, it feels like they're in the exact same spot, meaning they're both top 4-ish welterweights. Let's see who's the better man.
Gilbert said at the presser that because Bilal was one rank above him, he wouldn't take the fight now because he doesn't want to fight down. That's just what Gilbert said.
That's crazy. Although I like
Khamzat Bilal title eliminator. Winner gets a fight at the belt because right now there's no telling where Colby's at.
Well, it's a fresh matchup for Khamzat, so that's good.
Right,
that works in Bilal's case.
Maybe difficult stylistically for him.
We just need fights to be made. This division has been stagnant for too long.
Feels like for the last 3-4 years.
Let's just get it moving. I don't care who these guys fight, and honestly, I would consider Khamzat, Gilbert, Bilal some of the most game guys in the UFC. I don't think they probably are caring too much. Let's just get the fights going. Let's stop trying to make this perfect scenario.
I agree.
Where this guy gets this guy, and now all of a sudden we have the path to it. make some fights. These guys are ready to go.
All right, fine. Khamzat Shavkat. Let's go.
Now we're really
Chill.
talking. Now we're talking dream
That would
matchups.
be the
Too
freaking
early.
best.
Too early.
Oh my gosh, that fight needs to happen for a belt one day.
Okay, so we're talking about the fights that need to happen. Can we talk about a fight that probably didn't have to happen? And I know this is, Monday morning quarterback, hindsight. The Shogun fight. It was just like, it was depressing.
Okay.
It was depressing. The whole thing was depressing. With all due respect, who is Ihor Potieria? What did he do to deserve that spot? Why couldn't he have fought a Paul Craig? Why couldn't he have fought even a Johnny Walker? And I know you'll say like, oh, he's going to beat him. But at least it's someone that can take that win. And now we don't know enough about this guy. And I'm not even getting into the celebration and all that stuff, which felt like, hey, bro, read the room. And everyone's like, all right, there's X, Y, and Z reason why he was doing that. And he's been through his own stuff. And I'm not trying to I'm sure his struggle has been incredible. And like to what he's had to overcome, it's been unbelievably inspiring. And he's coming from a place right now that can use inspiration. Ukraine. I'm not trying to take anything away from the guy. But I mean, how many people knew who this guy was, Ihor Potieria, going into this fight? And it just feels like, why do we always have to kill off the guy? Look, someone has to win, someone has to lose. But why does it always feel like, let's put the legend in there against the lesser known young up-and-comer? And more often than not, nothing happens to that young up-and-comer. They're unable to capitalize off the win. It just becomes a very depressing, sad scene.
The problem with this is the legend is accepting the fight and thinking that this is a fight they can win and going in there and competing. I have a hard time getting
But they
upset.
also would have accepted the Paul Craig fight.
Maybe. Do I know that? I don't know that.
What do you mean? You don't know that? Of course he would have accepted that fight.
I don't know that. Was that fight offered and
This argument is the same as people who say, oh, you can't talk about fighter pay and pensions and stuff because they signed the contracts. Well, no.
No, it's not the same.
It is the same. That's what people say to me when I bring that up. They're like, oh, they signed the contracts. There's no gun to their head.
If Shogun knocked him out, we'd be talking about how it was great booking. I can't. Look, there are names that you can put him against, that you can put Shogun against, that would have made for a more notable fight, right? You mentioned some of them. If Johnny Walker or Paul Craig, instead of fighting each other, fought Shogun, we'd be like, okay.
Anthony Smith.
Notable names. But what happens when Johnny Walker or Paul Craig starches Shogun? Now what?
It's Johnny Walker, Paul Craig. We know who they are. Now they could take that win and maybe do something with it.
They were already going to do something. I don't care.
Feels like the fight is bigger. But by the way,
it either is we don't let them fight or we deal with the outcomes. That's it.
Am I crazy for thinking it's dumb to put Shogun's retirement fight on free TV? Like, might as well make that into an attraction that you need to pay for, right?
Sure.
This is the last time you got to pay for this, to give that away, to end the prelims on ABC on that note. Like, you're supposed to end. Imagine you end it with Johnny Walker doing what he did to Paul Craig. You're sitting on ABC and you're like, shit, this is some crazy shit. I got to go watch this now. To end it on that note, if you're familiar somewhat with the story of Shogun, if you were paying attention to the broadcast, like, this was super depressing.
But can I propose that maybe we care more about Shogun than the paying public does?
Sure. I mean, I can only speak for myself, really.
Like, we care more about Shogun. To me, that's an unfortunate end to a great UFC run and a legacy and a career that is worth celebrating. But does the paying public even? You
should have at least have a Wikipedia page if you're going to fight a guy like Shogun in his retirement.
For the paying public,
it's
the birth of Ihor Potieria.
But it can't be the situation where, like, yeah, they always lose. Okay, well, then they shouldn't have fought.
Can we at least put them, I was thinking about this, like a Matt Brown, Carlos Condit type fight where you have two guys in their late 30s. Like, that's a retirement fight.
I'm all for it.
A Jim Miller, Donald Cerrone. That's how you should treat the legends on the way out.
What if they win?
Not Chris Gutierrez versus Frankie Edgar, not Ihor Potieria versus Shogun Rua. You know what I'm saying?
I'm with it. I can support that. If it's one or the other, cool. I will take it. I will take that type of fight. But I just can't. I can't be too upset when it happens. This is the nature of this business.
It's not pro wrestling. And by the way, if it was pro wrestling, Shogun Rua, Ric Flair, he goes up against Shawn Michaels. He doesn't go up against a young jobber.
It's not pro wrestling.
But I'm just saying that's where this thought process is coming from. You gotta do the job on the way out. No, you don't. You don't have to do the job on the way out. Let the guy have his moment. Let him have his win.
But how do you?
Put him in there. Equal fight.
Who's he beating?
No, put him in there against a fellow 39-year-old.
Okay, so now the options are very limited. Who?
Yeah, I just named. I named Anthony Smith. Put him in there against Anthony Smith. I know we saw that.
Anthony Smith.
Okay, so
okay,
good
like
win,
doing
Anthony
the same
Smith.
thing over and over.
Good win, Anthony Smith. That's what I would say.
You're combining two things. You either care about him winning.
I care. I mean,
or compare about the stakes of the fight. Because
I just want it to be fair. I can't work the fight. I can't work it.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like
make
Anthony
it fair.
Smith, Shogun
It's
Rua is
fair.
not fair.
It was
I
fair.
feel like he would starch him in the first.
It's the same fairness. There's no difference in fairness. There's a difference in notability in who the opponent is. I agree with you 100% on that. No doubt. This could have been a more significant fight if it was Paul Craig or Johnny Walker. Absolutely. No doubt. But is he going to win? No. Is it going to be just as sad? Yeah.
Where's Lil Nog at?
Okay. Well, I mean, it's funny because I was talking about that trilogy last time. You were talking about Hendo, and I was talking about that. That is a really those three have put in a great. Those two have put on 3 great fights. But
can I give props to the UFC because people say I don't do that?
Sure.
I thought they did a great job, despite the fact that the crowd sucked. I thought they did a great job of making it feel special that they were in Brazil. The promos, the one with the kid writing them a letter, that was amazing. The Shogun stuff was great. And there was another one like with all the Brazilian fighters talking about the history and even, let's give them props, like showing Anderson Silva, the Aldo retirement situation. Of course, Anderson should be in there first, but let's not nitpick. Like all in all, one thing that we've said in the past is like, oh, the product doesn't look different if they're in Paris or New York or Brazil or Mexico. Here, if you're watching at home, I feel like they did a good enough job of letting you know we're in a special place. This is different. This isn't your run-of-the-mill event. I liked it very much, so kudos to them.
I 10,000% agree. I want to propose something to you.
Oh.
And not to be a Debbie Downer.
Oh.
But from a practicality standpoint, do you think if they didn't have the time off, right, from the last pay-per-view, that it would have been this, or it would have just kept rolling?
No. I mean, they had a show last week.
I know, but there's some downtime, right? There's an ability to kind of, it's the same argument around like, do we think the fights would be special if there was just less fight nights and all those things? I think because they had the time off and they were able to focus in, that they were able to do something like this. I don't know that it happens if it's just one pay-per-view, 3 fight nights in between, next pay-per-view.
Well, guess what? It's a valid point, but guess what? I guess we'll get the answer to that question in 3 weeks when they're in Perth, right? Because they should do the same sort of thing in Perth.
Yeah, 100%.
They should make it feel special,
It's a good point. Let's find out. But now back to the positive side. Everything you're talking about, it all worked. It all felt like this is significant. Here's the stakes of this fight. Here's why it matters. Here's why us being back in Brazil matters. And I feel like all week it kind of felt that way. I dug what they did.
I thought it was great, because we heard a couple of weeks ago, essentially in so many words, the ship is going to sink if I'm not there. I thought it was great to have Dana there all week doing press conferences, a lot of presence, a lot of media stuff. I thought it was really,
good,
notable, right? I thought, because we heard if he's out of the picture, how's the company going to prevail? So I thought that was really important to do that.
I can expect them to do the same in Australia as well.
Yeah, for sure. One last thing before we get to our first guest. Tough one for our guy, T-Rex.
Yeah.
That's it? So matter of fact?
I mean, that's his style. That's
him.
his style.
I know.
He's kill or be killed. That's how it's been his entire career. All 4 of his losses prior to that
It's just a tough one. It was tough to see him go out cold like that.
I think he will
Every
have
time he's been finished by knees in the UFC.
I think he will have a very long and lucrative and productive UFC career, being a guy who comes in there and brings action and kills or be killed.
It felt like he was trying to slow it down. It felt like he was trying to be more patient, and that just isn't who he is. I can guarantee you this. The next time he fights, I will be watching.
That's it.
Pretty much every time he fights, I am going to be watching because no matter what, it's exciting.
100%. But you could have made a strong case. Wins that fight, maybe he is really considered for the Patty fight now, obviously.
Why does the win matter? Why is now
he's more considered?
Yeah, maybe he's more considered. I mean, also you gotta say the.
I guess they're both coming off losses, right?
The Bonfim brothers are legit, man.
He slipped that in there. I caught that. Yeah, why not? Do it. I like that fight.
T-Rex.
Who doesn't like that fight?
I love it. I mean, I would have done it next.
He'll promote it. That's the thing. Wherever he is on the card.
Who wins that fight right now? Who wins that fight right now?
T-Rex.
T-Rex or Patty?
Oh,
What? I really don't.
Horse McKinney.
Really?
Oh, round 1.
Oh, man.
For real? Round 1?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what Terrence
I'd be
McKinney
surprised
does,
if he
man. Have you
opened-
watched the dude fight? Like,
I'd be
it's rare when he doesn't put people out in the first round if he's winning.
I'd be surprised if the line on that was like lower than 250.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you. Minus 250?
Nah, people will play Patty.
Yeah, that's
a lot
true.
of people will play Patty.
a Cowboys.
I bet you'll get
Lakers
it like
boost.
minus
You're right.
130,
Yeah.
minus 140. People love Patty.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. McKinney would wrap.
Will
it
they
up
make
now.
that fight? Probably not.
Probably not. No.
Be smart to.
The Bonfim brothers had a great Saturday night.
Any better? Could it be any
No.
better?
I mean, two
Right.
incredible wins. Gabriel and Ishmael. Gabriel winning in 49 seconds. Great performances throughout, and especially on the prelims. There was a stretch there of the ABC prelims were tremendous.
I would watch Jessica Andrade fight for either title right now.
Yeah, she's
Strawweight,
she's incredible.
flyweight. Let's do it.
She's incredible.
Andrade Young too.
Very inspirational. Not as inspirational as Josiane Nunez and her big comeback.
The greatest comeback in UFC history.
Defying on the odds. What a great pick that was. Thank you very much. All right, let's get to our first guest of the day and back in. And throughout the show, we'll talk more, of course, about 283, and we'll recap how GC did from a betting standpoint, all that and more. But I was very much wanting to talk to our first guest, and in fact, we talked about him. When was it? 2 weeks ago. Brandon Moreno was on this show, and I was asking him about the whole James Krause situation. Of course, he can't train with James Krause as the investigation is ongoing, and I was wondering what he would do, and he just drops in. I like to think that I'm in the know. I like to think that I got my ear to the streets. He drops that he's working with the great Sayif Saud of Fortis MMA, and I have to be honest, I'm man enough to say I had no idea. And I don't think anyone else did. It wasn't out there. It wasn't being reported, all that stuff. And so I was very interested. I reached out to Sayif. He said, let's wait until after the fight. They kept this one under the radar, close to the vest. Well, now he's able to talk about it all because the fight is over. And his new guy is the undisputed UFC flyweight champion. Let's go to Brazil. He's still there. And say hello to Sayif Saud. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Good. How are we doing, Ariel?
I'm doing great. Congratulations. You're still in Brazil. I understand you're leaving tonight, so thanks for squeezing us in before you head out. Wow. Okay, I actually want to start from the beginning here. When did you first get word? When did you first get a call, a text message, something that there was an opportunity to work with Brandon Moreno?
Yeah, I think it was the first week in December. I think it was the week of the MMA awards because I was there. That's the first time that I worked with him was I think that Thursday or Friday. So kind of right after everything, unveiled, unfortunately, with his situation. And, Jason House reached out to me. We talked and I said, I'm going to be there in Vegas, cornering somebody and going to the awards. I took my wife to the awards. We were nominated for Gym of the Year. And so I went and met up with Brandon and we had our first session and, we've known each other, we've seen each other. We've talked. Hey, how you doing, coach? Hey, Brandon, how you doing? Congrats. But we've never trained together. So our first training session was that first weekend of December.
Considering all the stuff that was going on with James Krause, did you have any reservations about coming in there and taking over as head coach?
No, my only thing was I wanted to meet with him and train with him and see how we gelled, right? But as far as Brandon goes, I mean, Brandon's probably the most liked fucking guy in MMA. I mean, literally, I don't know anybody who doesn't like Brandon Moreno. And I told him this, and he is just that guy. I mean, he's just such a lovable, good dude. He's a family dude. He's a father of 3 girls. I'm a father of 2 girls. I just see him as like kind of just one of those salt of the earth guys that's really, he is what he appears to be. And I think that, character wise and personality wise, I don't think it gets much better than that.
Obviously, I don't want to make too much of the relationship with James because let's be honest, they only worked together for one fight. But considering the circumstances, did you call him or speak to him and say, hey, this is what I'm doing? Or did you not feel like that was necessary?
No, I didn't. And, I know James, we were colleagues, we worked together. We've known each other for a while and it's just an unfortunate situation. And whatever that situation ends up being with James, it ends up being. But I haven't spoken to him. I wish him the best, and I hope that resolves itself, and that it that it has a a good resolution, but I don't know if that's just, I don't know if that's being realistic, and I don't know if that's even a possibility at this point. So the reality is that I spoke to Brandon about it briefly in the beginning. I said, we both know James, we both like James, and it's unfortunate, and we both understand what the situation is, but ultimately the only goal was to become the undisputed champion, and everybody else is feelings and emotions and those were all secondary. And I told him, I said, my only priority right now is to focus on this fight, and for you to win this fight, because this fight had so much on the line, Ariel, so much history, this ain't just a title fight. Whoever won this fight won all the fights. Whoever won this fight won the history, right? I mean, whoever got this fight, that's it. The history is going to side with them, and the history of the flyweight division, there'll never be another title fight with 4 in a row. I don't think that will ever happen in MMA. So it was just really important to focus on this fight. And 6 weeks, 5.5, 6 weeks wasn't a lot of time to worry about emotions. So we just got right to work.
Okay, so you met him once, and after that first meeting, did you say, "Okay, I'm in"?
Yeah, it went really well, and I told Jason, I said it went really well, and he was very, very receptive, and everyone looks at Brandon like he's this like kid, and they see the Lego stuff and all this and that, but when I see Brandon, I see a very intelligent MMA mind. He's an analyst, and when you do analyst work, and this, you've got to be super sharp. I mean, you've got to be so quick. Your mind has to work so fast, because you've got to be able to produce, and examine what's happening right away. And you see all the guys that are analysts, your boy DC, champion, Dominic Cruz, and look, let me just say this. Everyone keeps talking shit about the commentators. I hate this guy. I hate that guy. This guy sucks. That guy sucks. It's like, dude, okay, get over it. Every one of those guys, whether you like them or not, they know their shit. Bisping was a champion. Cruz was a champion. Cormier was a champion. Brandon Moreno, a champion. And I think that for me, what I see is a guy that's 29 years old who's starting to go into his prime, and he's really starting to trust that intelligence. Because when you're in your 20s, you think you know what's going on, but you're not quite sure. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let me listen to people that are older than me. And with Brandon, I was like, look, man, you've got a brilliant mind. I want you to trust yourself. And that's all we talked about. And once I saw that he was going to listen and be a good student, it was easy. And he's one of the easiest guys I've ever trained. So yeah, it was real simple.
So you said a really interesting word there, trust. I was just about to ask you about that, because it's rare to see someone at the top of his division, top of his game, and maybe there's more room to grow. I'm sure you think so. Deal with so much change in the midst of all of this, right? Because prior to being with James, he was with another team, and there's like a lot going on in this guy's life. And so I was wondering if you felt like there was a moment there, or a series of training sessions where you had to earn his trust and vice versa, right? Because like this guy, like he didn't ask for any of this, right? He's about to prepare for the biggest 100%. Fight of his career. And now the guy that he 100%. Just thought was going to be his guy for years is gone. And so you're just this guy walking in, and you've got your resume, but it's like a new boss coming in, or it's like a new coach coming into a basketball team. Yeah. How does that process work out? That trust.
And that process works out with time, Ariel. And what I had to do was, it was a tumultuous 6 weeks, because what I was doing was training my guys at the gym on Sunday nights, Monday mornings, Monday nights, Tuesday mornings, Tuesday nights, Wednesday mornings. And then on Wednesday, I would fly to Vegas. And then I would stay in Vegas until Saturday. And I would, we would work Brandon Wednesday night, Thursday morning, Thursday night, Friday. So it was splitting up my time between, Dallas and Vegas. And my wife looked at me and she's like, you're going to kill yourself, because last year was a crazy year for us. It was a huge year. And I didn't have anything scheduled after the first week of December until, this month. So I thought I was going to get a break. And then, this situation arises, and I'm like, okay, well, this is, not only am I not going to get a break, I'm going to have to work harder than I've ever worked, because this is a 5-round title fight. These guys know each other so well. They've spent so much time together in the octagon. No detail can go unnoticed here. I mean, any little thing could have spelled disaster. So, I mean, I just went in the hyperdrive, and and built that time with him. And I spent, I think you saw that doc. I saw you retweeted it. I mean, we spent a lot of time together in a short period of time. And that was by design because, with all those people yelling and throwing stuff at us when we left, all those people in the crowd, it was loud there. So I knew, that we had to gel and it had to be real. The connection had to be real for us to be successful. But again, credit to Brandon, man. He just made that easy. Can't say enough good stuff about him, as cliche as it is. I mean, he just told me, Coach, I'm a soldier. He said, you tell me what to do and I'm going to do it. And he said, once I believe in you, then I'll listen to whatever you say. And that's kind of what happened. And it was very organic and very natural, and it worked out.
You mentioned that, Doc. I tweeted it earlier. The name, is it Rubet, or who produced it?
Rubert, Robeert. Just some kid, man, some cool kid that he was there, and he was there the whole time. And he was like, it's going to be really good. It's going to be really good. I'm calling it The Last Dance. And, we call this camp The Last Dance, obviously. Brandon loves Jordan, which, made me love him even more. And during his weight cut, he just watches The Last Dance. He watches Jordan all week. He's a big Jordan fan. And I think that speaks to his winning mentality. Kid's a winner, man. And yeah, kid's a winner, and he knows how to win. And so that's what that's what it was, the whole concept of The Last Dance. And Brandon had a lot of adversity in this camp. Brandon hurt his knee really badly, and we kept that a secret. I mean, nobody knew about it. And not only did he have all those other things he had to deal with, but physically, he got really sick. Everybody got sick last month. I don't know if you got that flu that was going around, but he got that flu. And I mean, for 2 weeks, he was so sick. I mean, he would do rounds and he would hack shit up and blow his nose. And then, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I mean, he was struggling, but he never showed any mental weakness or any mental fatigue. The guy is just a tank. And so we just powered through it all. And, as you see in that documentary, I mean, there were some tenuous moments, and I had to keep him, keep him balanced and make sure he didn't hurt himself more, because, that guy he'll run through a wall. I mean, he'll do whatever it takes. So it definitely, there was a lot that happened in the camp, even though it was, only a short camp. There was a lot of variables.
Yeah. So I urge everyone to check that out. It's a fascinating look behind the scenes, especially as you're seeing your relationship grow and the bond get even stronger. But then I was going to ask you about the knee injury, because we're watching sparring and he gets hurt and you tell everyone to stop. You see him trying to power through like it's a fight, and you're like, yo, this is a training session. Like, what are we doing here? How serious was it? How serious was the knee injury? Was he close? There's insight there from Jason House, his manager. How close was the fight to being canceled?
When I first got into the camp, me and Jason had a very serious conversation. And I think Brett touched on this too when he wrote about it. Jason was, I can't say enough good stuff about Jason House. And, again, everybody likes to get on Twitter and talk shit, and everyone likes to be negative. Well, guess what, Ariel? Today we're going to be fucking positive.
Okay.
So here it comes.
All right.
Jason House loves that kid in a way that it's like his son. Jason House don't got no kids, but I mean, he loves Brandon like almost too much, right? Like it's like overbearing love. Like he like a parent, like a helicopter parent, just like he cares about him so much. And he doesn't get in the way. He tried to not get in the way. But in the very beginning, he told me, he's like, Coach, I'm so worried. He said, this is not fair for this kid. He should get a shot. He's injured. He's sick. He got thrown into this tumultuous situation. I think we might need to pull him. And I said, Jason, it's the first week. Just calm down. Take a breath. Because I'm a coach, man. You know how much shit I see. You know how many injuries we have. Every single fight, a guy's got something. It's just part of the game. So I'm like, just relax. But he was so just freaked out. And the truth was, I realized I've known Jason for 10 years. I've never seen him that way. It wasn't that he was freaked out because he wasn't experienced. It wasn't that he was freaked out because he, didn't know. It's because he cares so much about Brandon. And he didn't want Brandon to fight. And on that point, if Brandon doesn't fight, then Jason doesn't get paid at all, right? So I think it's important to talk about that. That he was like, look, and the only reason why I thought Brandon should fight was because I thought Brandon, I could see the mindset. And I was like, this kid can overcome this. We can do this. I was like, we can really get this done. And not only are we going to do it, I told him, but we're going to do it well. He's going to look better than he's ever looked. He's going to look more disciplined than he's ever looked. He's going to come out and be the best version of himself. I believe in what I can bring, and I believe in what we were doing as a team. All the other coaches worked so hard and diligently for this. Everybody was committed like a family. And I definitely want to get into that too. But credit to Jason House, who, man, I mean, if he's like that the agent, you know, he's like, I love your kid. I'm going to take care of him. I'm this and that. He's really that fucking guy, because he was so worried about Brandon's well-being, what was right about Brandon, not about the fight. And that needs to be recognized, man. And I'm going to continue to be a voice of positivity. And when I see people doing good things, I'm going to talk about them, you know, no matter what. And I want to credit him for that. And another thing is, me and Jason House have no business together. He manages one fighter of mine. I manage all 20 of my fighters in the UFC. We've never done anything together. We don't do any of that together. So the reality was, the reason why I've always respected that about Jason is because I can see that love that he has for Brandon. And Brandon as well is that kind of guy, right? He's a guy of integrity and a guy of commitment. So the whole gel of the team and the situation ended up working out really well. And I will move to the next point before your next question. I need to recognize all those other coaches. Israel Silva, the wrestling coach, unbelievable, came in every weekend. Hector Vasquez, the jiu-jitsu coach, there every night, right? Leaving his gym, coming there at night. What do you need, coach? What do you need? Hoya, his Muay Thai coach, leaving his family in Mexico and Puerto Vallarta and being there all the time. Capetillo, the unbelievable boxing coach, who you will love this guy. You would love him. Work with Andy Ruiz, work with Tyson Fury, just an unbelievable guy. All these guys love Brandon so much. Masio, his teammates, Marcelo Rojo, these guys living with Brandon in his basement, there for him. What do you need, man? What do you need? What do you need? Like a family like I've never seen. And it was really special to watch how all these people love this guy. And we're working for this one goal. So I want to make sure everybody gets recognized, everybody that was a part of it. And I couldn't have done it without all of them. And it was one family and one effort.
Will he need surgery on the knee?
He might. I mean, we got to get an MRI and
but it was serious.
You know,
it was serious.
It was serious. I mean, it was serious, and I mean, it popped, and you know, I've seen my fair share. Had ACL myself, and this guy would fight with one leg, though. I mean, there was never a time in Brandon's mind that he wasn't fighting. Never a time, and he would fight no matter what. So, and that's the spirit of a champion. But yeah, we worked through it, and I made him tape it up, and every single day I'd call him. Did you tape up your knee? Yeah, coach, I did. Yeah, coach, I did. Are you sure? Yeah, I did. So I told him, you know, you got to tape up your knee. We got to be really, really smart the rest of the camp. And, you know, thank God we made it through.
Okay, let's talk about the fight. It was the type of performance that I think he needed to just kind of put an exclamation point on this rivalry. There's no controversy. There's no debate. Obviously, you want maybe a different kind of finish. It's not going like it did, like with the doctor involved. But to me, there was no controversy. Clean punch, all that stuff. How did you feel about the 3 rounds, the body of work? A couple of moments there, you know, the guillotine, he pops out, all good. Some amazing exchanges. Yeah. But overall, what did you think of the body of work, those 15 minutes?
To be a champion at the highest level and to retain it, you've got to be able to control fights and not be emotional. And we know that Brandon has fought, you know, Figgy with emotion in his last fight. And he stood in front of him and he's banging. This dude will bang with anybody. I mean, he loves it, you know. I mean, he just loves it. But that's not what champions do. And champions are precise. Champions can take calculated risks. And champions can sustain that greatness. And that's really what I wanted from him. I said, you know what? You hit him with that 1-2 and you move to the right. I don't even think he can touch you. And honestly, you saw the fight. Figgy was lost a lot of the time on the feet, just kind of chasing him. And Brandon was just landing clean boxing. It was easy for him. And then we wanted to get the wrestling going because we wanted to see if we could drain that gas tank on Figgy. Everybody knows that he cuts a lot of weight. Everybody knows that he's strong, but Brandon only shot 1 takedown in the last fight in the 5th round. And I'm just like, dude, we had 5 keys to this fight. First key, moving right the whole time, no matter what. Key number 1. Key number 2, the hands are never going to do this. Brandon likes to get that chin up and those hands down, like, what's up? Come on, bring it. And I didn't like that. I mean, it's part of how he gauges his distance and shit. But every time he brings his chin up, I have half a heart attack. And so I'm like, Brandon, get your hands down, start lowering your levels. That was our third key, lower your levels. Fourth, 2 or 3 takedowns around.
Wow.
We wanted 2 or 3 takedowns around. And this guy, like clockwork, you saw the wrestling and you saw Figgy laid on his back a whole lot of the end of the, that last round. And he didn't look like he was fighting too much to get back up or get back in the fight. Whether people want to say I focused on that, it was clear. And DC explained it clearly. The fist was completely closed. This is a punch. There's nothing else that needs to be said. But if Figgy would have came out, I think Brandon would have ended him maybe in that round, because I think he was starting to tire out. And anything could have happened. But I give that performance a 90, 95% for the defense, for the offensive shot selection, for his ability to not get hit. I mean, how many times have you seen Brandon not get hit, especially against Figgy? Figgy barely hit him. So I love the fight. I thought it was great. And I think that Brandon would have found the finish if the fight would have kept going. So I'm thrilled about him listening. I'm thrilled about his discipline. I'm thrilled about his defense, thrilled about his movement, his footwork, staying outside the lead foot. How many leg kicks did Brandon get hit with? 1, maybe, so all the big right hands. How many big right hands did he get hit with? 0. So these were the things that, lost in the last fight. And they were the things I wanted to make sure didn't cost him even around in this fight.
For you, for the team, how does this feel? Well, like you've been in this game a long time, and you've got a lot of homegrown guys, and your team has been like the little engine that could, and you're starting to really get that respect now. You're among the giants of the sport, and now you got your first champ. Does it feel like your first champ? Does it, could you be honest with us? Like, would this have felt the same if it was Jeff Neal or Kennedy and Zichiku?
Ariel.
I know.
I'm always on it.
I know, and I appreciate that very much. You know what I'm talking about, right?
100%. Each fight is different, and each fighter is different. And Brandon, obviously the situation is completely different. It's not like I raised Brandon as a pup, which is what I do with almost all of my guys, and so it is different. But I'm really proud of what we did, me and Brandon, because I think that was probably a little harder than a normal fight camp. I think that when do you ever fight a quadrilogy where you're fighting a guy that you've had 3 razor close fights with, who knows everything about you? This title fight might be the hardest title fight I ever have. The next title fight will be maybe Span fights Jamahal Hill or whoever has it or whatever. Now you're talking about one champ fighting another champ for an undisputed title where they're 1-1-1. So this was a unique challenge for all of us. And I'm really proud of what we did. I'm proud of all the coaches. I'm proud of Brandon, and I'm proud of everything. But I told my guys too, I'm so committed to my team and my guys that I've brought up since they were babies that I don't think this changes any of that. I think, as a matter of fact, that a guy like Brandon just makes everybody better because he's such a good guy and such a good teammate. So otherwise I wouldn't have worked with him. So maybe it just gets the juices even more salivated for everybody else that there's a champ around or whatever. I haven't gotten much into that or thought much into that, because all I really care about is getting things done. I will tell you that, and I've told you this before, my goal is 100 wins in the UFC. And this was my 80th win in the UFC. So it took me 80 freaking wins.
Wow.
Before I got a title fight. And that just shows you how hard it is. And credit to all those guys that keep the belts and retain them. This is not an easy sport. And it's even harder to stay on top. So, but Ariel, again, it's not about me. I said this to Brett. I'm 42 years old. All I give a shit about right now is going home and seeing my daughters. The best part of the whole thing was my daughter did text me and she said, "Daddy, I'm really proud of you.
Oh man,
I love you."
You're gonna make
she
me
sent
cry.
me a picture. She sent me a picture. She sent me a picture and she said, "I know you always said that you were going to get a champ." And she said, "I just want you to know I'm really, really proud to see you right now." And she sent me a picture of me on TV, and it was me and Brandon. I told my wife, I said, this might be the happiest thing of my whole career. I keep looking at the message over and over again. And I text her and I said, baby, I said, it does mean a lot, but remember, you can do anything if you never give up and you never quit on your dreams. And so for me as a father, to be able to show her that probably was the coolest thing out of the whole weekend.
Oh man, that is incredible. You deserve that. Could I ask you what happens now? Like he doesn't live in Dallas. You're based in Dallas. You can't do that thing where you're flying 3 days. Like what's going to happen for the next camp? And I'm not trying to take you away from this moment.
No.
Special.
I got you.
But I'm sure you guys have thought about this.
You're lovable mother. You don't got.
I just want to know.
Fit it all in.
No, yeah.
So again, credit to Brandon. We get to the press conference, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, man, what a relief, for him and for his family. And I told his wife now, they're going to go on a trip. I said, you're going to have a great trip now, because let me tell you, fighters aren't fun when they lose. I mean, you already know that story. You're going to have a great trip. And she was smiling. She said, thank you so much. And she's really, really sweet, his wife. And I said, that's great. He gets to the press conference and he says, I don't know who asked him the question, somebody. And he said, well, I know coach doesn't want any credit, but he deserves a lot of credit. And he said, he came to Vegas every week and he does all the stuff for me. And he helped me out so much. He goes, now I think I have to go to Dallas. So Brandon will come to Dallas and he'll train and we'll figure all that out. And we'll go from there. I mean, let the kid have his moment. I'm not worried about any of that right now. I mean, he had so much stress on his shoulders with this fight. There was so much on the line. That's just not what I'm thinking about. But we're going to work together again and move forward and hopefully defend this thing, until he wants to stop fighting. But I really don't look at things like that. I really I don't know. And I will say this, man, and I don't give a shit what anyone says, because all these coaches, man, they fucking care so much, and they're on Twitter and they're giving their opinion and they're saying shit and talking. Well, how about this? Well, how about that? Man, you just love attention, don't you? Why don't you just come out and say it? I don't see Bill Belichick getting on fucking Twitter. I don't see any of these super high level coaches. McDermott, I'm feeling for you, bro. I'm feeling for you. I know, man. But like, these guys are awesome. Look at McDermott when this shit happened with Hamlin. Like, such a classy dude. This dude is a coach. This dude is a leader. And, that's kind of how
talking shit. Who's talking shit? Let's call him out. Who's talking shit?
I don't know. I'm a leader, man. I'm here to lead and let these young people live their dreams. Let these young people make it all the way. And I feel like I get tons of love from the media, tons of recognition from all the big names. And I feel like I've got so much respect. I don't feel like I need to say anything, but these coaches, they get on there and they talk and they're always giving their opinions and talk. And every time I see it, I'm like, man, I guess that's them. I mean, that's you. But at this age and in my 40s and as a father, like, that text message meant everything to me. My whole world is my kids. I don't give a shit what anyone else thinks. And that's just the truth, and there's no disrespect, I mean, I know everybody's different, but that's just where I'm at in my journey. And I like that. And I think you get it, you're 40 now, 41. Like, you just don't give a shit what people think when you get older. So that's just kind of how I'm living my life. And a couple more years there, once I get that, maybe when I get that 100th win, and these guys finally get settled, that'll be the end for me. I've been doing MMA since 2006 full time. I mean, it's 2023, 3 years as a fighter and all these other years as a coach, and all these times I'm not around my kids and I miss all the basketball games, and my wife's always alone all the time, every weekend. I mean, I want to be there for my family. So we'll see how it goes in a couple more years and we'll go from there.
Last thing, did you get hit by a drink, a cup? I didn't like that scene. I know he was laughing it off and he's such a good guy, and I just don't understand why. Like, that's so unnecessary. It was a fair fight. There was no bad blood. Hated that. And I saw some people defending it. Like, fuck that. No.
It was unfortunate. I'll give you the flip side. So I've been here to Brazil now, I don't know, 8 or 9 times. I've always had such a good time. Shout out to Nogueira. This guy, anytime I need anything, I text him, I ask him. Brandon needed mats at his Airbnb. Nogueira got all of it set up. They dropped it off. Like, the people here are so beautiful. Jose Aldo came back and hugged us, and good luck, champ. And I mean, who doesn't love Jose Aldo? I mean, how awesome was that moment? Everybody was awesome. Even everybody. I just feel like that when security started to run with Brandon, it was kind of like a game. Like when you see, like, when they see prey, when a predator sees prey and they see motion, they're like, oh shit. And I just feel like, I don't know, it was just a bad moment. And once they started running with him really, really fast, I think people were like, oh shit, there's a moving target. It was just people making a split second bad reaction. I just want to say that the Brazilian people were so good to us and so everything. It's been a fantastic time here. Some of my best memories, Ryan Spann, when he fought Nogueira's brother, was same hotel. I mean, it's unfortunate, but all this shit talk, Brazilian pieces of shit and the Brazilians, that just hasn't been my experience. Yeah, it hasn't been my experience, but it was an ugly scene and it was rude and that was it. But again, positive Monday today.
Sure, but the main thing is, like, someone could get hurt. Like someone throws something, hits you in the eye, hits you. That's why I don't like it. You know what I mean? Someone could get hurt, and none of you deserve that. So, what a night! I'm so happy for you. Congratulations, happy for the team, and way to keep a secret, man. I mean, here I thought we're close, and I have to find out live on the air from Brandon that you're working together. It's nice to be surprised. And again, I'll repeat what I said last time. The stuff you're doing with the analyst work is fantastic. It really is. The way you break things down is really second to none. So keep it up, my man. Great start to the year for you and the team, and safe travels home.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Good to talk to you.
There he is, Sayif Saud. And how lucky are we that we get insight into massive fights like the one we saw on Saturday from minds like that. And we're lucky. In half an hour, we're going to talk to John Kavanagh, another one of the all-time greats, about Johnny Walker's big win to kick off the main card. For now, though, let us go to our next guest. And I said it at the top of the show. I believe our next guest is still the best light heavyweight on the planet. I am not just saying that because he's our next guest. I would say that to anyone who asked. Not his fault that he got injured, and we know about the belt being taken away. And that doesn't take anything away from Jamahal Hill. He's going out there, he's winning the fights, and that shouldn't diminish what he accomplished on Saturday. And I have no problem calling him the light heavyweight champion right now because this is how the business works. But if you ask me if I would rank him, there has to be a one. And I still think right now, Jiri is that guy. And so I'm very curious to think or to see and to hear what Jiri thought of Saturday night and where he goes from here, because that's the big question, right? Will Jamahal Hill's next fight be against the great Jiri Prochazka? Well, we don't have to think about it. We don't have to wonder. We don't have to speculate because he is here. He is kind enough to join us. Let us say hello to the great Jiri Prochazka. Hello, my friend. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
Hi, I'm great. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as always. So, Jiri, so much to ask you about, but I want to ask about Saturday first. Did you watch the main event, Jamahal Hill, Glover Teixeira?
Sure. Yeah, I watched the prelim card, the main card. So, yeah, I watched that.
What did you think of the main event? Were you surprised by how the fight went and the result?
I was not surprised, but I was a little bit surprised by the Glover Teixeira's performance. About his energy and his speed. He was so slow. He was a little bit slow, and amazing work from Jamal. Yeah, amazing work from him because he did everything right. Yeah, so congratulations to him, and I'm looking forward for him.
You obviously know Glover very well. You fought him. You have not fought Jamal yet. Based on your experience with Glover and just everything we've seen out of him, did you think he was going to win this fight?
Who, like Glover?
Glover, yeah. Did you think he was going to win going in?
Yeah, I thought about him. He have a big chance to win, especially in the Rio with the home crowd, and everything works like in this event for him. So I'm a little bit surprised by that, but that's good good step for the light heavyweight, and I'm happy for that. Happy for this result because Jamahal Hill is a young guy. He's how to say, dangerous, and I like to see before me somebody like him who is the challenge, who's challenged me, like somebody who challenged me, and that's make me I'm looking forward to start the training, and yeah.
I love it. Can I ask you one other thing about Jamahal? There were some questions. Oh, if the fight goes to the ground, how's he going to look against Glover? Oh, how would he look in a 25-minute fight? Did anything surprise you from Jamahal?
I think from him, nothing. Maybe that he had not so much he spoke about his power of punches and all these things, and how when he catch the Glover, it will be over, and all these things. So Glover showed everybody that Jamahal, he haven't so big power in the punches. Not like a Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker, he showed them amazing work, and that's maybe the one and last thing. Yeah. But more than Jamahal Hill, Glover surprised me because it looked like he looked like it was not his night. Yeah.
Who's the best light heavyweight on the planet right now?
I don't want to speak about me because I want to be focused for to be healthy, to be ready to fight. And on the paper right now is the Jamahal, yeah, on the paper, but I'm still here, and I'm work on that to be back, to be on the paper, to be the best. But normally, I'm taking myself like the best on light heavyweight on the world. That's my opinion. Yeah.
Okay, I respect that very much.
I have to be. No, I don't want to be like a hustle. But I want to be a little bit. I want to be humble in that. Yeah, it have to be. Yeah,
I get it. So the shoulder, how is it feeling?
Everything's going on the great way, and next week I'm going to Las Vegas to continue in a rehabilitation and all these processes to be quick, to be fastest way back as it possible. I don't want to be so fast for that shoulder, but it's getting much better than everybody expects. So that's why I'm happy for that. Yeah.
Do you have any kind? Because right now we're wondering, okay, is Jamal's first title defense going to be against you? Could you come back in 6, 7, 8 months? Will he have to fight someone else before he fights you? Realistically, now I know we spoke about this last month, but now with a month, under the belt, what are you thinking in terms of when you can return? What are you hearing?
Yeah, understand, and I think I can be back in July, August, something like that.
Okay,
6, 7 months, something like that. To be, but because I don't want to be just to be fastest way back to just to fight. I know these this is not the best attitude. I want to be sure that my body works for 200%, and I think it can be in summer this year, and just let me work on that, and I will be back as soon as possible. And on the fight, on the next Jamahal Hill's fight, I don't know if he wants to wait for me till this summer. If he wants, I will be. It will be the best, because I'm sharpening my weapons for him. And if he wants to fight some in some near future, so doesn't matter for me. Like I said, I want to see the light heavyweight division is moving, because there is a good guys, and I see like the Jamahal Hill wins right now, like a great move. I'm very happy for that, and I'm looking forward for it.
Is there any part of you that is, I don't know if concerned is the right word, but I could see you want to come back. You want to get your belt back. You want to be back fighting. You want to prove to everyone that you are the man, and that you push yourself too much and you try to come back too soon, put too much pressure on yourself. Like, are you constantly telling yourself, like, it will happen when the body is ready, right? That is a game too, right?
That's the most important game right now in my head. So that's why I'm traveling to Las Vegas to keep the best physiotherapists around me, all the proces, all the hyperbaric chambers, and all the lights, and all the things around not just shoulder but all the body. Yeah, but all the body. I want to be back in the game.
Watching another light heavyweight title fight without you being involved, what was that like for you? Because it's late. It's like 6 a.m. over there when it's happening, right? You're 6 hours ahead. Like, staying up and watching that, how do you feel when you see someone holding your belt?
It's not something special for me, because I'm normally I'm waking around 3 a.m. and I'm meditating. So that's the best time. Like you can catch your mind in 3 a.m. When it's totally quiet, and then you can start to work with your mind, with your body, on another level. So for me, it's normal to be awake 3 a.m. So
wow.
And today Saturday or Sunday, there's in Czech Republic, the event started around 4 or 5 p.m. a.m. So it was okay.
So you wake up every morning at 3 a.m. to meditate?
Not every morning, just when just when your inner voice calls you.
Wow, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
And how long does the meditation last for?
Today morning, last morning. Today morning, around 3:30. Yeah.
So like 30 minutes?
3:30, 30 minutes, 1 hour. How is you have to feel it. What's necessary when it's done. What is challenge for you right now, and that's all about that. Yeah.
Wow, that is. And do you talk, like, do you think about anything, or are you trying to keep your mind completely? I love this stuff. I love this stuff. It's fascinating.
It's up to situation. What comes to you.
Wow.
Yeah. As in that moment, it's good to have some notes from that, because you can remember that these feelings and these things, these thoughts. So it's for me it's a very important, because then you can work with your visualization on another level, and that's all about that. The life is about that. Yeah.
Wow. Last thing on this, if I can, do you listen to anything like music, any type of music?
Normally, or
no, when you're meditating.
Oh, just sometimes I'm listening some meditation music, especially how to say these vibes like
Okay, like sounds, different sounds.
yeah,
Okay.
something like that, but not too much. The most important is the quiet. That's the biggest strength.
By the way, usually what do you listen to? Like what do you like to listen to just for fun?
Just for fun. Motivational music, and like sometimes it's up to my mood. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It all fascinates me so much. And just curious, do you have a preference? Yeah, I feel like you might say, but I'll ask anyway. Like if Jamahal fights someone else, we were trying to debate, should it be Anthony Smith? Should it be Magomed Ankalaev? Should it be Jan Blachowicz? Should it be someone else? What do you think? If it's not you next, if he wants to come back in March or something,
There's Ankalaev, Blachowicz, Glover's out.
Anthony Smith, there's Rakic coming back.
Yeah, Rakic is back. That's good. I think maybe it's just my opinion, but they had a fight. They spoke about that fight, Anthony Smith with the Jamahal Hill.
Yeah,
because I think he deserved the fight with the Jamahal, because they gave him like a special step up. Yeah, so why not to Smith? But that's just my opinion. But wait for me. Wait for me. Just that. And no speak about that. I just want to. Sorry. I don't want to be concrete about that.
No, I get it.
I want to be. I want to just give me time. Don't watch me right now. Just let me work on my body to be back on another level. Not just like that, to be healthy and be back.
Sure.
When you have some time, it's a good time to recognize what's your step up. That's all.
Last thing for you, the video that we saw on Saturday night, you were outside. I think it was snowing, and you said, I'm coming, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Was that? Did you shoot? Did you go outside at 7 a.m. or was that something that you sent them earlier? I was wondering because it looked like the sun.
That was after the that was after the event. I just stepped to my garden. And I thought about that fight, and it started to motivate me. So I came the video. Yeah.
I didn't know if you were doing like a workout in the snow at 7 a.m.
Yeah. That was before the workout.
Wow.
That was before the workout.
It looks like are you wearing a t-shirt in the snow over there outside? What's going on?
It's normally I'm without t-shirt because the winter is good to keep yourself like in a cold, like to be healthy, more healthy. Yeah.
You're gonna catch a cold. You're gonna get sick. You need to have a hat, gloves, scarf.
Sick. Why? If you eat good food, if you like keep some discipline in your food, you drink a good water, man, there is no reasons why you have to be sick.
Okay. So you have a very strict diet, very strict. You don't do any cheat meal, stuff like that.
Yeah. Not like that. No. Yeah. So I'm right now I'm a work athlete. Yeah. So I have to keep everything, not just maybe not everybody athletes is doing like that, but I like to do that, like to have everything, like a strict diet, strict going to sleep. So now it's here. around 9 a.m. So I have to go to sleep.
Okay. So I will let you go to sleep, my friend. Thank you as always. I really appreciate when you come on. I find you to be a fascinating individual, and I can't wait to see you back in there. And I would love to see you versus Jamahal Hill. What a fight that would be. So I wish you the best. Do great recovery, safe travels to Las Vegas, and we'll see you very soon, my friend. All the best to you.
Thank you. All the best to you.
Thank you so much. There he is, Jiri Prochazka, the pride of the Czech Republic. What a guy, huh? I can't get enough of Jiri Prochazka. I find him to be like, I wanted to ask him, what do you eat for breakfast? What do you eat? Like, I just.
Do you want us to get in bed?
No, but I could tell, like, okay, that was it. You know, he had enough of me and my probing questions. But I just want to know. I want to know about the meditation. I want to know what he listens to. I want to know what he watches. Like, do you think he watches Netflix? Or do you think, he doesn't seem like he's a big Netflix guy.
I think he's a TikTok guy.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to guess he doesn't have a Netflix account.
Although I should say, I said at the top, oh, maybe he filmed that before. And when I said that, I was like, well, actually, the main event probably ended around 7. He was outside in his T-shirt. I was kidding, of course, about the catching a cold. I mean, you see these fighters like Makhachev. You guys see that? He was doing something in the snow before he went to Australia. Just like in the snow, T-shirt, working out. These guys are tanks. We have a little bit of time, so I just want to I want to go back to the guys if I can to tie the bow from what we were talking about. After hearing what he just said, what do you guys think? Do you keep Jamahal Hill on ice until he comes back? Do you have him fight someone else? Now we know the answer. We were speculating, but the beauty of this show is other shows you speculate. Here you get the answers from the guy. I don't know why I'm yelling, but you know.
Yeah, you're all right.
Positive, like Sayif said. What do you think, Near Crick?
Yeah, book him.
Book Jamahal?
Yeah, book Jamahal.
Versus?
Any of the guys.
Can't say anyone. You have to have an answer.
Anthony Smith. Let's do it.
Ooh, I like it. Pay-per-view main event in Omaha?
It's a title fight.
Yeah,
oh,
title fight. Omaha.
Well, I'm sure Anthony.
Maybe
can
in
sell
Detroit.
That
By the way,
I was
maybe
gonna
in
say,
Detroit.
Do it in Detroit. I like that.
Little Caesars Arena?
Is it still called that? Because it's just such a fantastic name for an arena.
Wait, I mean, it's fairly new, isn't it?
I thought it changed.
It's one of the great arenas. Remember when I did my whole thing, New York Crick, about that?
One of the legends.
Yeah, Little Caesars.
original
It is
10-7.
Yeah.
I mean, sign me up for that because
Little Caesars, yeah.
I
there
will
it is.
get Little Caesars for dinner. That'll be a great
just-
evening.
That feel unless I'm speaking out of turn, unless somebody disagrees, that feels like the biggest name fight, right? And also, there's the storyline of look, we were supposed to fight, we became training partners, now we can fight again. That feels like the most interesting story. So I would do that.
I'm still down for Uncle Ivory going.
I go with Anthony. I'm going with Anthony. You know what? The more I think about it, Anthony, Jamahal, Ankalaev, Jan too. Co-main.
Why not?
Or just do it on, I don't know. Unless you want to do it co-main 5 rounds. Seems kind of weird to go 5 rounds to 3 rounds.
I agree with that.
Although maybe they settle it in a 3-round fight and the 5 rounds screwed it up. Nah.
We've settled it in the 3 rounds.
Make it a fight night main event.
Mhm.
Apex, baby.
I dig it.
Smaller cage, more action.
Let's do it.
By the way, speaking of eating, did you try the acai on Saturday? I saw the picture, but did you actually try it?
Yeah, I had acai. I already
And?
had acai. I loved it.
Oh, you already
Frank
had
hated
it? I thought it was your first
Yeah,
time.
No. It was Frank's first time.
Frank?
I said it was underwhelming, and I stand behind that.
Yeah, but the thing is, you probably had like.
Oh, I know this.
Are we?
yeah.
I don't want to name names if you don't want to throw them under the bus. But like, was it a legit spot? Did we
I mean,
do
it
research?
was a place that was open on a Saturday night in
Yeah.
Financial District.
Was it near us? The place we were talking
Yeah.
about? Oh, really? They're actually not bad.
I mean, I didn't say bad. The
But
word bad
underwhelming.
never came. Underwhelming.
I mean, underwhelming isn't great, if I'm being honest.
I ate the whole thing.
Yeah, it's hard.
You know
not
what
to.
else is not great?
What?
I loved it.
So I'm sitting there eating this underwhelming thing, waiting for GC to show up, and
I love that clear the throat. Like he
Yeah,
showed up
yeah.
25 minutes early.
hey,
At work, or you're waiting at the
He's-
spot?
He's
Waiting
waiting
at
at
the
the
spot.
spot. He texts me. We were supposed to meet at 5:30. He texts me at like 5:19. Yeah, I got my bowl and I'm already eating, waiting on you. By the time I get there,
yeah.
everything's
So my wife
empty.
is sitting next to me, and she sees that I'm underwhelmed,
Okay.
and we start looking up. Well, what exactly is the difference between the Brazilian and the
Oh, here we go.
American? So apparently they add more sugar in Brazil. I'm not
Yep.
saying. I mean, that's just what I read.
Guarana, it's called.
Guarana, like the guarana berries that
No, not even close. Guarana.
I'm calling it guarana.
All right, fine.
All right. Then I find out that the trees that they pick these things from are very brittle. So they have to send children up to the top to pick the berries.
Oh, jeez.
And they get injured, and there's a lot of advocates trying to bring attention
What
to this.
is going on?
So I'm just saying, I'm eating this underwhelming thing, and I'm like, there's some poor little kid who probably fell off a tree for me to be underwhelmed. And they have to freeze them when they bring them to the States because you can't really, they don't transport well. Like, they rattle around and bruise and leak. And everything. So, you know what? I'm just going to say that I don't care about the acai.
Wow.
You don't care about it?
I don't care
You're
about
done?
it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I'm ever in Brazil, I'll try it again.
I don't. You can't listen to Helwani on this.
Why?
Brazil is not the only place you can get good acai.
It 100% is.
No, it's not true.
Someone sent me a.
True.
Where else have you had it? Good. Like,
Hawaii, California.
okay, by the way, strong, subtle flex there. I mean, sorry, we're not all lucky enough to go to Hawaii, okay? I mean, really.
It's one of the 50 states. What are we talking about here?
So now it's one of the 50 states.
Oh, yeah.
recommended.
Like, oh, sorry. It was just over
I forget
in
the
Hawaii
public transit
for the
will take us right
weekend.
there.
I mean,
I
geez,
totally forgot
Louise.
about that.
It's easier to get to
Are you
Rio
guys
from here
acting
than
like-
Hawaii. You know that?
It's exotic. It's why we,
Yeah, it's very
we took
exotic.
it on as a state.
By the way, we're very jealous.
California and Hawaii.
We're being
is now a
envious right
rich
now.
guy flex.
I mean, excuse me. Oh, wow. How was your weekend in Honolulu? Was it nice?
Right. It's
Aloha.
cheaper to get to Puerto Rico.
It'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense. Puerto Rico is closer.
Stop it.
Okay, so you've had it. You've had it in Hawaii?
Yeah, and it's great.
Think
It's all
of
about
the children.
It's all about the sourcing of it. It's about the freshness. It's not about like
The guarana is the secret sauce.
if you're sitting here and getting frozen sticks of acai, then it's not going to be great. They're just melting out bad acai, putting it in there for you, and mixing in some fruits. Even the fruits are not as good here, as opposed to like the West Coast. The produce on the West Coast is better. So yeah, there's lots of places in the United States and elsewhere where you can get good acai. Brazil is not the only place that you can get good acai.
So Brazil adds sugar.
It is very good in Brazil. It is great in Brazil, but that's not the only
with
place.
the added sugar and the caffeinated berries. And you understand.
Correct.
Yeah.
Are they really caffeinated?
Yeah.
Wow.
I drink an energy drink called Balls that is just made from those berries.
Okay.
It's called balls?
Yeah, it's called Balls.
Jeez.
BAWLS. Comes out.
Like, why are you
I've never heard of that, dude.
I have them probably every morning. You guys are like, oh, what is the cobalt blue bottle that I have with me? They sell it at
Listen,
the.
Frank.
I've only ever seen you drink the
I mean, I
Fig
slam them
Apple
pretty
Red
quickly.
Bulls.
So
I think it's safe to say you haven't talked about your balls enough, Frank.
right. Well,
And by the way, the energy drink could be acai flavor, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there's caffeine.
no, the
in
guarana, or as you
in the
call
guarana?
it. Yeah, it's a
But guarana-
guarana soda.
What? What is going on
Called
here?
Balls. Like it's been around since the 90s.
Wait, is it an acai drink or is
No,
it
it's
a guarana?
Guarana.
Oh.
That's why you asked, does it have caffeine? I'm like, they're
Okay, but
naturally caffeinated berries.
Am I the only one who thought?
Oh, yeah, Frank, I'm looking
there's-
at it now. I've never seen you with this balls before.
Oh, yeah, I don't think you pay enough attention. to me.
Guarana original.
Joe, have you seen me with it? Joe says yes. He can't talk to you on comms because that system is broken.
You're just walking around the office holding balls.
I've never seen
I
mean, this
slam
is
one
ridiculous.
on the train.
Yes, you
My
slam it
bodega
on the
like
train.
orders it specifically for me because they're like, you come in here every morning. What does it taste like?
We got your balls, sir.
Yeah.
And then you trash it before you
I'm
get
not
to
even
the
looking
office.
at YouTube, and I know that you guys are probably getting flamed by that because there are people who watch this show that drink balls.
Where can I get this other than your bodega?
It's all over the place.
Where can we get your balls, Frank? Come on, it's funny. No, is it not funny?
Oh, it's hilarious.
Frank came in very serious to this chat. And it just devolved.
By the way, bit of a weird name, no, to call the drink. I mean,
They're come from
I mean,
berries.
yes, it is definitely. I'm looking at their website right now. First of all, it's just balls.com. And then their catchphrase is stay up, drink balls.
I mean, come on. They're leaning into
I
it
hope we
too.
get sponsored by
they're
Balls.
definitely leaning into it.
Our very own Casey.
On their website, it says become a balls influencer. You want me to fill out the form?
Wow,
Look, I shot my shot.
Influencer
He's trying.
application. I'm filling this out right now.
Can I?
Our very own Casey, EKC says he's had the balls drink
Oh,
and it's great and it keeps you up for like 2 days. So lots of energy.
You drink one of these
in the
every
balls.
day, Frank?
I have two, at least 3 times a week.
You kidding me? And then you follow it up with a Red Bull Fig Apple,
Sometimes if I
Fig
need that
apples.
extra jolt to the heart. Yeah.
and then a green drink from Starbucks.
Look, it's a lot to put up with you guys.
can I make a prediction? Someone is going to tell the balls people, and they're going to hook you up after all
I mean,
this.
if that happens, I'll
This
be
free
smiling.
plug that you just gave them.
You always get the original blue one?
That's the only one.
Well, no, there's orange, root beer, ginger, cherry.
I mean, I've tried all of them. The original's the only way to go.
And by the way, I mean, never offered us any.
Yeah,
Never
I
even
offer
heard
you
of
guys all the time.
I'm not gonna lie.
Never-
These things are $4.99 a pop. Like
Jeez.
you're waiting
You
behind
need a
me.
balls budget.
Yeah, seriously.
Have a
This is
balls
ridiculous.
Here's the funny. They're actually $6 because I get them so much. The bodega gives them to me for $5.
Wow.
I'm not even joking.
That is amazing.
That's my favorite part of all this is that the bodega's like, well, there's Frank. Get his balls. Just like
I will. I will
you're-
shoot a video the next time I go get it. You'll see how excited they are to like ring me
The
up for
only-
the 2 balls.
Are you the only one buying them? Like when you
Probably,
come in
'cause
and you buy your 2, is it just the 2
They
that
sit
were
in the
there
same
before?
cooler. The
Yeah.
cooler has not changed. I'm the only one that takes them out of there. Anyway, moving on.
A bit of breaking news here, courtesy of New York Rick. Our old friend Aaron Chalmers of the Geordie Shore fighting Floyd Mayweather.
I think we should say not Kurt. The news
Well,
is
you
not
sent this to
courtesy
me.
of me,
Yes,
but
you're not breaking
I
the news.
alerted you.
Who did break it?
I don't know. I saw it from Michael Benson, but I'm not sure
What in the
who
world?
had the original.
Old friend Aaron Chalmers, who I actually just spoke to very, very recently.
He didn't
Not about this.
fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather. Oh, he posted it on his Instagram, February 25th at the O2 Arena in London. Aaron Chalmers was who would we compare him to? He was sort of like, I mean,
And who I
Geordie
compare
Shore,
him to?
like the situation, right?
Oh, I guess I don't know.
Geordie Shore was the Geordie version. Geordie being what they
of
call
Jersey
people from
Shore, yeah.
Newcastle.
Sure.
That was a real show?
Oh my God, it was a big show, and then he signed with Bellator, and that was a big deal
I
for
was gonna say
them.
he's Tommy Fury.
Oh yeah. How about that?
Oh, yeah, Geordie Shore, wow.
Fighting on the same day as Tommy Fury and Jake Paul. A little competition there. Interestingly enough, still haven't officially announced that fight. Tommy Fury and Jake Paul. Tommy?
Not that one.
Shout out to that one. By the way, Frank, did I tell you that Tom sent me a message about that?
No, what was the message?
Oh, he said it really, really. Wait, didn't we talk about this in our chat? Oh, jeez.
Well, I mean, I thought I was feigning
to get out, you know?
for the
playing
show.
along.
Oh, sorry.
Wow, so
No,
sorry.
He said that. No, that's good. I could vibe with that. He said that it really meant a lot to him that we brought him up when we were talking about the best heavyweights and the music. He enjoyed that. I mean, it really touched his soul. Here's a guy who's rehabbing, perhaps feeling like he's a bit out of sight, out of mind, and I think he was really touched by it. So I thought
That's
that you would
awesome.
appreciate that.
Speaking of morning beverages and Tom Aspinall, he came on the show one time and talked about how he only drinks flat whites.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it inspired me to try one, and now, you know.
that's your
I'm
thing.
A bit of a routine, yeah.
Flat
I'll
white
get the
guy.
Flat whites.
From where? Local spot? Don't tell me it's Starbucks or something.
I mean, dude, we've had this conversation. I got uploaded with gift cards for Christmas.
Oh right.
Got to knock them out.
Fair enough.
It'll be done quickly because Starbucks is very expensive.
That's true. So you enjoy it. By the way, best
Oh,
flat
love
white I
flat
ever had, Australia.
Wow.
I mean,
They're
talk
great.
about
They're
that.
great. I've never had one.
I just opened the door for.
I mean, what are we gonna?
I just opened the door for you to walk through. You did.
Not even gonna.
You never had a flat white? I was not paying attention.
What?
No. He was going to gatekeep Australia having the best flat whites.
No, but that I think that's what they're known for, or at least it's like the most popular coffee, if you will, in Australia. Anyway, Aaron Chalmers coming back. Also, Sage Northcutt, that was announced
Yeah.
this morning. Sage
Rado,
Northcutt.
we going?
Yeah, sure. I think you're going, right? Didn't you say you're going?
No, I never committed to anything.
You
but
said you were thinking about it.
considering it.
Yeah, there
He
you go.
asked me to
But-
go already, and we're already making the plan.
But I would be going to Colorado.
Oh, you're already going that weekend?
No. Nothing has been hammered down.
Oh, okay.
I would be going to Colorado, and one championship would happen to be happening. I wouldn't be planning the trip around it.
Why are you going to Colorado?
That's where my girlfriend's from.
Oh, I mean, two birds, one
serious.
stone.
Yeah.
Take the parents, take the in-laws. One championship debut. I'm sure they'd love it.
Nah.
Brings the whole
you don't
family
think so?
together.
This is what I do for a living. I mean, have you heard of Adriana Moraes? This is great. All right, well, we have plenty of time to figure that out. For now, though, let's go to our next guest. Very excited to speak to this man. It has been a while. Used to be a fixture. Now, I mean, he's like a great boxer. He's just, ducking, jucking, jiving. It's hard to nail him down. This time, we nail him down after a long sojourn from Brazil all the way back to Ireland. He's the great John Kavanagh, the head man over at SBG Ireland. There he is. I didn't know if you would show up, not because I didn't believe, but I thought maybe you'd be jet lagged, you'd be tired. Man of your word, here you are. How are you feeling? Are you regretting this?
A little bit. I'm not going to lie.
I tried to say.
Home. Yeah, I just got home and I said, I'll lie down and I'll have a power nap. And that was the worst idea I ever had.
Oh, no.
I feel like I've been in a bit of a car crash. But sure, here we are.
Okay.
Here we are.
Well, I appreciate you doing this. Congratulations. Happy that you're back home. You know, I didn't realize, and it never really came up, I didn't realize that you had never been to Brazil before. And I saw on your Instagram, first time ever in Brazil this past week.
Yeah, it's funny, all these years. And I suppose the only opportunity I had was when Connor did the world tour, but I didn't accompany him on that. I was too busy with the gym back home. But that was my first time visiting for me, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu fan and practitioner, and to have an opportunity to visit the homeland was very special.
Result aside, what was it like? Like just going there, being there, experiencing the culture. Again, for someone who has devoted his life to jiu-jitsu and now MMA, of course, but that was your base, your foundation, your entry into this world. What was that like for you?
I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. We stayed in a lovely part. We're down on the beach and you're having the coconut water straight from the source and trying the acai and all of this. People were fantastic, very friendly. Great experience. I suppose it would have been nice to stay for a couple of days after the fight where you can be a little bit switched off and maybe visit some of the big jiu-jitsu schools, but it wasn't to be this time. It was a little bit of an in and out job, but maybe I can return another time and stay a bit longer.
By the way, I've been talking about the acai all week long. It's incredible, right? Unlike anything you've tried. It's not like the ones that we get over here.
It was absolutely delicious. You could eat it all day long. I've had it in Ireland. It's getting popular over here, even in the kind of health food type places, and it's I don't know. It feels very sugary or something here, whereas there it's a bit more earthy. It's a bit more raw, and I don't know. It's probably totally in my head, but I felt it was much better for me over there.
Yes, I agree, and I've had it many times, probably too many times every time I go over there. Obviously, want to talk about Johnny Walker's incredible win and what a finish, as unique as it gets, the win over Paul Craig. But as we kind of close the loop on your first trip to Brazil, what struck me in your post, you posted this on Instagram, the first line, you said, as a 19-year-old kid, after being humiliated with a bad beating on the street, I came across UFC 1 and my life was nudged onto a new path, inspired by the great Royce Gracie, who was in attendance, which was super cool as well, to have him there and to show him being backstage and whatnot. I devoted my life to the practice of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and MMA. I didn't know about that story at 19. Are you open to telling us what happened and how that changed the course of your life?
You've not read my best-selling
Well, you have
book,
not talked about it on this show. Win or learn, of course. I'm the one who put the photo on the cover. I introduced you to Esther Lynn. Remember that?
Fair enough. But yes, I do detail it in my book. But sure, we'll have a quick chat about it here. It's a story I've told many times. I was out in Dublin City on a weekend, and there was I came across this kid, and he was kind of getting beaten up by a few guys, and I had done some form of martial arts most of my life, so I thought this would be like the movies. I stepped in to try and stop it, but there was maybe 3 or 4 of them. I ended up on the wrong side of a beating, but the guy I stepped in to help got away, so I achieved my goal on that. But it was pretty, for looking back and being 18, 19, it was pretty humiliating for me to get badly beat up in front of my girlfriend. And I was actually, I suppose looking back now, I was in depression for a couple of months. I didn't want to leave my house. I didn't want to do anything. And then I started trying to research other ways of self-defense and fighting. And somehow or another, I came across UFC 1, and I was like, wow, that's like real fighting. I'd been doing, I suppose you call like traditional martial arts, and it's always in a very kind of nice setting, and you throw a punch and I do my block, and that's not how it was in an actual fight. Whereas when I watched Royce Gracie being able to subdue even much bigger opponents, and in a weird way, it appealed to me that he didn't really have to hurt anyone. He was able to do it in a very technical fashion and just put it, apply a chokehold and they tap. So I started practicing. Then I started off with judo and then getting a few friends together and trying to headlock each other in a shed. There was no Brazilian jiu-jitsu in Ireland at the time. And slowly but surely, traveling to the UK, traveled to the States, trained with the great Machados for a while in LA. And slowly but surely start learning it and start doing security work at the weekend. So I had plenty of chances to put it to test and did a couple of MMA fights and all of a sudden found myself running an MMA gym in Ireland. And that's 25 odd years ago. And then I blink and suddenly, actually it was a weird experience. I was standing in Johnny's corner while Bruce Buffer is announcing them. And you're kind of scanning around. And I somehow saw Hoist Gracie through whatever tens of thousands of people were there. And it just caught his eyes. And I didn't even know he was there because I've met him a few times now. He cut the ribbon on my newest gym, which was a really trippy experience for me.
Wow.
Bellator had him there. And I've met him a few times on Bellator shows. And he'll be back in my gym teaching a class next month when Bellator is in town. So I have met him a few times. I didn't realize he was there. And I just locked eyes with him. It was such a, I don't know, it was very, very strange. And then even to be going there with a Brazilian guy and he's ending up facing a European Brazilian jiu-jitsu specialist, it was a kind of a surreal moment.
And what a moment for not only yourself but Johnny Walker as well. And this bond that you have forged with Johnny is really interesting because like for the longest time he was just this nomad, right? Like every fight it seemed like he had a different team with him, different coaches. He's in Russia, he's in Canada, he's all over the place, but now he has a home in Ireland. He married an Irish girl, and it seems just based off your social media, like you guys are legit friends. I think you were together on Christmas. He's there, and I know you're friends with a lot of the guys that you coach, but could you talk about how you have created this bond with this guy who seemingly comes from a completely different place than you?
Yeah, shout out to his wife Tara. She kind of introduced us. When they were coming home from Thailand, I think they were only coming to Ireland for a short time, and she Googled where for him to train while they were in Dublin. And, my gym popped up and she brought him in. And I say the same thing with all fighters. You come by, train for a couple of weeks. I might not like you or you might not like me. I don't know if it's going to work or not. But that's our 5th fight now. And him and his wife, they actually live in my house. They have done.
Oh, wow.
2 years or something now? Almost 2 years. And his wife is very good friends with my wife. I was best man at his wedding. And then the following week, him and his wife were witnesses for me and Orla's wedding. So we're a bit of an odd grouping, but I think we have a bit of a rhythm going now, a real groove. There's a trust thing that takes a long time to build, I feel, for a fighter and a coach. It's not just about going somewhere for a couple of weeks and the secret move you're going to learn. That's not really it, Probably no matter where you go now, all the top camps, people know how to strike, they know how to wrestle, they know how to grapple us. But it takes a long time, I believe, for the true bond to form, that trust for second by second decisions that have to be made, and even fight week and dealing with all the emotions that come and making weight and doing that the right way. And we've done it 5 times now, and I think we're getting a nice bit of momentum together now.
Okay, so what's been the difference as of late? The last 2 performances, very impressive. And, this was a guy who at one point we were saying maybe he's the guy to beat John Jones. And of course, not trying to get too crazy, but it looks like he's on a path now. And light heavyweight is somewhat wide open. What, in your opinion, has been the difference as of late?
You've got athletes and you've got fighters in MMA. There's a lot more athletes than fighters. Johnny's very much a fighter. And when he got in, first of all, he kind of fought purely on instinct. He's an absolute genetic freak. Some of the things he can do. I always remember the story, his first time ever sparring in my gym. And he was sparring a guy that's not as tall as him. Very few people are, but he's probably about 6 foot tall. And Johnny fainted through a jab at him. The guy kind of flinched and closed his eyes, and Johnny jumped completely over him, just jumped over his head and landed on the other side of him. And so the guy, when he kind of opened his eyes, there's nobody in front of him. He's looking around, and I'm just scratching my head going, okay, well, this guy, this is not normal. And even some of the stuff we've done with the brain testing, his eye coordination and his ability to pick up things is off the charts. He's a very unusual human. But there was some lacking in the fundamentals of fighting, let's say, that he could sometimes get away with things that normal humans couldn't. My gym is probably more well known for like bantamweight to welterweight, and suddenly I had this massive guy that will no doubt finish his career in the heavyweight division. So it just tidying up some of those kind of fundamentals in all the areas of mixed martial arts, and trying to, we had the great Packy Collins part of the team now, and I give massive credit to him for just getting that hand position a bit tighter. And even I think, although it was a short fight and it kind of ended in a bit of a weird way, even in that first minute, just that level of, I think there's a more calmness to him now in the cage. He's not in a rush to engage. He can get behind the jab. He can get behind his long kicks and not get into kind of crazy exchanges. So, I really feel that we've tightened up a lot of things there. And for sure, I feel there's a world championship in his future, and just glad to play a small part of that.
So that athleticism definitely on display on Saturday. Do you guys work on that? Like, okay, I'm going to hold your leg and you're going to start, is that a sequence that you can even train for, practice, or is that just his athleticism, his uniqueness, like just his pure, skill coming out of that moment? Because I don't think, you see it on TV and you're like, damn, that is impressive. But the balance you must have, the strength you must have, like even the patience to a degree to do that is really unbelievable. Like I don't know if I've ever seen a finish quite like that. Maybe once or twice. Super impressive. And then also, like to be able to connect in that moment. Everything about it impressive. Do you work on something like that?
Yeah, actually, part of our pretty much daily warm up, all my fighters are tired of it at this stage, is that we do 30 seconds balance on each leg. So one guy's holding your leg, very much similar to that, and you mimic throwing shots while on one leg, and that's literally part of everyday warm up that we do. And I'll also I'll bring up an incident that was, we were on the wrong end of that, was where one of my guys, the Franz Malambo, he's a very, very talented fighter. Actually, there's a big announcement coming out about him next week. But anyway, he fought Ricky Banderas in Dublin, and he made the mistake of catching the leg and holding it a little bit too long. And Ricky Banderas knocked out Franz Malambo. Now, Franz Malambo is an exceptional striker. He was one of Conor's main sparring partners for the Mayweather fight, just to give it an idea that he's really, really high level boxing and kickboxing. But when you're holding someone's leg, somewhat the other way of looking at it is their leg is holding both of your arms, and you're not in a position where you can just kind of chill and take your time trying to get a takedown, because you're very open. So yeah, that is actually part of the daily warm up, is that comfortableness of being able to move around on one leg. You put that with somebody that's just an exceptional athlete, like probably in a different life, Johnny should have been a basketball player or an NFL receiver or something. There's a lot more money in that game than in the fighting game, but he does have as part of him, he's not just an athlete, he's a fighter, he's a warrior. You see that switch, that I know he's a bit of a clownish personality, but every now and again you can hit a switch where you kind of get the idea that maybe 1,000 years ago, he was the guy that when the two on the battlefield, they say, well, your best guy go against my best guy, and he'd hold up the severed head of his opponent, screaming at the opposition. So I think he's probably in the right game for his mind.
Do you ever wish that he's less of a clown? Like, do you wish that sometimes he takes things more seriously? Will that be a detriment to him?
People's personalities are the way they are. You just have to kind of you just work with what you have, and it's very much to his benefit in a lot of cases, this ability to not really take anything serious. He doesn't really get worked up or get stressed about anything. And sometimes I'll be pulling my hair out a little bit about stupid things, being 5 minutes late for class and stuff like that. It kind of bugs me. But it certainly works in his favor. I'm keeping him calm, and when he steps into the cage there, you see a real freedom about his movement and his ability to kind of see everything. It almost looks like it's in slow motion for him, whereas opponents might be a little bit stiffer and tenser and more worried, whereas he doesn't have that. But yeah, that is part as well of that kind of plus 1 year together now, that I've kind of learned where there's times that I can, kind of catch his attention and say, look, this is not the time to be messing around now. This is serious business. And, we've had 2 good first round finishes in a row now. So I believe we're getting that balance pretty good.
How do you feel when you see him do the worm?
Not good.
No.
Um,
Do you wish he would not do that?
Yeah, because I remember when our first fight that I did with him was the Ryan Spann fight, and he won with a first round knockout, and then he sat in the middle of the cage like a kind of a
Yeah.
Yoda stance, and he gave me afterwards. He's like, "See, I can do that as well," and so my eyes just kind of widened up when I saw him going into that, and then the next day, he comes to me and he's like, my shoulder's kind of sore today. And I'm about to give out to him. He's like, I'm just kidding, He's just trying to wind me up. But I suppose, like, he did get into it in a much safer fashion. He got down on his knees first.
Right.
And kind of rolled into it. And, he's in a sport where you can elbow each other in the face. So doing the worm in a controlled manner if that's my biggest problem with him, I'll deal with it.
All right. I mean, it makes me feel uncomfortable. I can't imagine how it makes you feel seeing that. Just knowing, for those that don't know, he injured his shoulder quite badly doing that several years ago, right after a big win. Can I ask you, I didn't get a chance to ask you about this. The last time we saw him fight prior to Saturday, there was that weird scene where all of a sudden he's like in the middle of the street, still wearing his gear. Could you tell us what happened there? What the heck? I mean, it's very Johnny Walker. He's walking around Las Vegas, full gear on, gloves and all. What the hell happened?
Yeah, Walker walking. So it was kind of funny. It was the show at the T-Mobile, and we, at the end of the fight now, I guess it's COVID protocol, and it wasn't unusual. It wasn't just us. This happened to everybody.
Okay.
They weren't picking on me in particular or anything like that. And we're doing all the media, and I realized as we're doing the media, we're getting closer and closer to the back door. And I was like, "Oh, can we go back to the locker room to just get changed?" And no, this is the way we do it now. Keep going. So we keep going out, and then suddenly I realize we're outside in the car park, and like clink, and the door's closed, and you kind of look around, what's going on here? And it's like, oh. Can Johnny just have a quick shower? And no, that's all done now. There's no green room. Back in the day, you go to the green room, you'd have a slice of cake and you'd see the other teams and whatever. So I guess with COVID protocol, that's gone, and now they just haven't brought it back in. Which, it's kind of I actually kind of used to like that at the end of the day, that all the teams would be sitting in there, and you get the winner, the guy who won would sit beside the guy who lost, and you'd have chats, and you'd see your coaches, the coaches of rival teams that you're friends with, and you kind of say hi to them. And it was sort of a nice end to the evening. But look, I guess this is the new protocol, and so we're just kind of outside now. And saying that, we had Johnny's gear. He could have put on a pair of pants and a t-shirt, but if I was 6'6" with like 8% body fat, I'd probably walk around with my top off a lot more. Also,
okay, fair enough. I just wanted to make sure that. It was a hilarious scene, but I just wanted to make sure that there was nothing more to it.
They weren't. I don't think they were picking on us or anything.
Okay, no, I didn't think that. I mean, why would they? Could I ask you about something that you tweeted after the fight on Saturday night? You wrote, quote, "Don't celebrate too hard. Don't commiserate too long. Luck plays a bigger role than anyone wants to acknowledge. Highest highs and lowest lows. All that matters is what we do tomorrow, win or learn. The process is the same. The next day, keep fucking going." What inspired you to tweet that after that win?
The sport is a tough one. Maybe one of the toughest in terms of the athletes. The fighters get so little opportunities to compete. Like competing twice a year is fairly average.
Right.
Some of them get up to 3 or 4 times a year. That's great. But if you are going through that, you've put in 6 months, and then, on a fight night, any given fight night, 50% win, 50% lose. It's just very absolute. I feel sorry for the guys sometimes. And I have a very busy fight team. My fight team at the moment is unreal. I have over 80 pros that I'm looking after. We're doing, I don't know, many fights, over 100 fights a year at this stage. And it was just trying to hammer home what I've said to my fighters in private a lot. And some of them have said that kind of perspective and that way of looking at it has helped them a little bit. And then, after the fight, you see the guys coming backstage that have lost, and they're really in the depths of it. So, just to kind of get them that maybe a slightly different way of looking at it, slightly different perspective, that don't forget that, half will lose on that night, and you'll have your chance again. So, hands down, chin down, hands up, and keep marching forward. Your time will come. And even that notion of like, and if you do win, great, but there's no need to take 3 months off. You know, you can, you can have a day or two, and then back in the gym, keep with the process. And Johnny's kind of at it. This is what I'll be saying to him when I see him next. He's had to get 2 good wins in a row, two first, and at that stage, sometimes it can be hard to keep that level of intensity, that level of focus with training, because I feel we're maybe a year out from a title fight, maybe in 2 more wins, and then we'll get a title fight. And the training can become monotonous. It does become mentally difficult to stay with that diet, to stay with that twice-a-day training routine. Keep at it. Don't stop. Keep going forward. That yes, we had a great win. Yes, we went to the beach the next day and we had a couple of cocktails, and that's fine. But I'm home now. I'm going to be in the gym first thing in the morning. I've got a lot of big fights coming up, and Johnny, he's going to stay in Brazil for a week or 2, but then he's back in the gym and keep marching forward. We still have much to accomplish together.
So it's interesting because I think I read last year most wins for the team, right? In 2022, is that accurate? And I think from afar, those who may not follow things so closely would think like, oh, Irish MMA, it wasn't, or 2016 was the high point, or 2017, and Conor hasn't fought for a couple of years. But then you see you have 100 pros or 80 pros, and you've got all these wins. So you're busier now than ever. Like this notion that Irish MMA is dead, that you are struggling, that the team is struggling, that the whole scene is struggling. All this stuff is total BS, correct?
Yeah, I think in MMA, this more than anybody, that probably the majority of people are UFC fans, and then there's some MMA fans. So of course I had an incredible journey with Conor, and that journey isn't over yet by any means, but that's not as active now as it was at one stage. But I will just very humbly put up the team's record. We had an 83% win rate in 22. Johnny's had 2 wins in a row now in the UFC. I think I have 10 guys on the Bellator card in a couple of weeks in Dublin, February 25th. That's going to be an amazing card. I have Danny McCormack, obviously Danny Neal, and she's married now, Danny McCormack, which is a great story. I'd love to get Danny on your show one stage. She's fighting for the Invicta World title in March.
Yes.
And that journey began with her, and she will say this herself, being a little overweight Irish girl that came to the Mendes fight and was at Conor's after party, and she was kind of drank too much and she was a little bit heavy then, and she pulled me aside and said, one day I'll get a world title with you. And I kind of rolled my eyes and went, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Wow.
Every drunk Irish fan tells me that. And that was
2015.
2015.
Yeah.
And now we're 2023, and she's won a silver medal in the Amateur World Championships, and now she's fighting for the Invicta World title in March. So I love that story. I've got a couple of guys in PFL fighting soon. Will Fleury, Franz Malam. Oh well, I don't know if I'm supposed to really say it.
That's fine.
Or not, but that's coming out soon. Who else have we got? Nate Kelly. He burst onto the scene on PFL, an incredible first round. Basically knocked the guy out and then choked him. So yeah, 80 odd pros. Most probably Bellator is definitely my biggest promotion that I'm involved with, but I have whatever it is, 3 or 4 in UFC, 3 or 4 in PFL, and every day I walk on the mats. I have 40 or 50 really high level guys on the mats, and things are not slowing down on my end. Actually, just today we started our 10th season of Train Alta. I know you know a little bit about that. I used to be called Wim to Warrior, now Train Alta, and we had 98 people show up for their first lesson in mixed martial arts, and rewind. In fact, even today, 98 people as a membership of an MMA gym wouldn't be a bad number for a small to medium MMA gym to have 98 members. We had 98 people join just today for lesson 1 of Train Alta. So as far as I can see, MMA is buzzing, and it's certainly not giving me many days off. Let's put it that way.
Our own Casey Leiden, one of the more famous alum of Train Alta, maybe talking about a second fight. Although I think if he did a second fight, it wouldn't be under that program, right? Like now, like once you do the first fight, you're on your own, correct?
Well, actually, quite a few people have done it multiple times. You know who might be a good opponent from?
We're booking a fight.
Yeah. Wouldn't this be interesting? Now, I'm going to embarrass myself because I'm struggling to remember his name, but the Mac Life.
Oh, Oscar Willis.
Oscar, he fought.
Yes.
Also.
Incredible fight.
Yeah, it was. It really was. I watched that back a few times. I was blown away by him. And you know what? That's a typical Train-Alta story. You kind of, maybe we make a snap judgment when we meet someone or we spend a bit of time in their company. And I was really, really impressed by him. What a left hook he has on him.
Yes.
But what about those two guys?
Let's go.
Their second Train-Alta fight.
I wonder if the weight classes match up there. We'll have to.
I don't think there'd be much between them. They look very, very similar.
Okay, what are you trying to do to the MMA media? You're trying to break us up here? I mean, we got two guys fighting.
No. Fighting brings you together.
That
fighting
is true.
Makes you even closer. Paul Craig and Johnny Walker are I would argue, very, very good friends now. I'm actually hoping to get. I'll be reaching out to his coach, the great James Doolan, a fantastic guy. And now that they fought, maybe we can do a little bit of cross training together, because that was a fight that was keeping me up at night. His ability to pull guard at this level of MMA and take out really, really high level guys. So we did a lot of work in the lead up to that fight to deal with those scenarios. And that night, luck played a role in it. Like I said in the tweet, probably more than anybody's comfortable with. We did our best in preparation, but the dice fell that way. Maybe in another time, Paul catches the kick and falls in a different way, and suddenly he can wrap up Johnny's leg. He's an incredible jiu-jitsu finishing rate. So, that's an interesting one.
I'll let you go in a moment. You've been very kind, and I'm sure you're very tired, but would be remiss if I don't ask you this question. True or false? Does Conor fight this year?
I'd be willing to bet my house on it.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. First half of the year, back into the year, what are we feeling?
I was actually chatting to him just yesterday or the day before, and then Audie was in town because he's, actually it was a weird one. Paradigm, Audie manages Paul and Johnny.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
God bless them having to kind of go between both camps.
Yes.
But I think there's some interesting negotiations going along now. Audie, or Ariel, you always, and I'm jet lagged and I'm tired.
Yeah.
The silver tongue way of getting me to say certain things.
You look fantastic.
So I absolutely can't say anything beyond that, but I'm very, very confident that we will see Conor back in the octagon.
Oh, that is wonderful news.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. Could I ask?
Here, can I ask you
sure.
a quick question? Here's
you're hitting me back with a jab here before I got the second punch out. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, there it is.
This is maybe I'm jet lagged, and that's why I'm bringing this up. And
okay,
I probably should just have texted you this.
Okay.
Off air, and you're definitely not going to get names out of me. But this is the second time it's happened to me now, where a fairly high level coach has slid into one of my guys' DMs and was like, "Would you not consider joining my team instead?" And I found that I don't know whether that's more common in this game than I'm used to. But it really kind of caught me sideways. Someone would do that. Like, I'm saying here that I'll have a chat with James Doolan about cross training with Paul Craig, and that's very, very common. We do that all the time. I've got Gunnar Nelson's going to train with Leon Edwards in the lead up to London for a week or so, and the London Shoot guys, we've gone back and forward with them, and all of that would be very, very common. But for a coach to directly go to a fighter that's clearly with another team and say, "Hey, you should join my team," I found that very, very odd. But I just wonder if you've heard of that, or is that kind of more common in MMA than I know of?
I will say this. I hear it less about coaches doing it. It feels to me like, for the most part, obviously everyone has egos and there's rivalries and you want to be the best and win. It feels like there's a fraternity. It's kind of like what I was talking about with Sayif Saud and James Krause. And I thought Sayif handled that whole situation very well. He didn't celebrate the fact that now he's coaching Brandon Moreno because it's at the expense of a brother, if you will. I hear about that sort of thing more with the managers, if I'm being honest. It seems like the managers don't seem to have the same sort of respect. And you hear about DMs being slid all over the place, all over the gaff, as they say over in Ireland. I don't hear it, actually, if I'm being honest, the coaches. I don't feel like the coaches recruit as much. For the most part, you guys, and I say that I'll include you in that, like you wait to see if someone comes to you. You're not out there saying, "Hey, you should come to me." So I am surprised to hear that. And was this someone that you respected as like a big name guy?
Yeah.
Really?
Two separate occasions, and both of them are,
wow.
They're brilliant. They have great.
That is weird. Because most guys are busy on like enough, like they have enough guys to worry about, or fighters to worry about. You know what I mean? Like they don't need more, right?
No, that's very true. Yeah, that's kind of at this stage. you know, almost the last thing in the world is to eat any more pro.
Right, exactly.
I'm busy as it is, but yeah, I thought that was odd. Like, you know, like I said, very super common for us to message about, you know, maybe some sparring or cross training. That's
Right.
all, you know, two thumbs up on that. But because, you know, this game, like, I don't do contracts with any of my fighters. All of my guys, if after a fight they say, you know what, I'd rather go somewhere else. Wish them all the best, and we'll part company friends. Like, I so much describe our game as I feel like we're like a traveling circus, and we're all part of the same team almost. Yes, they get in the octagon and they fight hard, but you know, backstage afterwards, or we're back in the hotel, pretty much everybody is on friendly terms with each other. There's always I feel a respectful nod and hello, and how's things going with you? And us coaches, we chat about the same headaches you get from young 20-something males, and it's almost like therapy when we talk to each other about the same problems that's happening in Canada, Australia, as Ireland. It's just, you know, it's people are people. So yeah, this happened. It was surprising to me.
Not cool.
Anyway, no biggie.
No biggie. We won't name names. Last one. Speaking of names, if they say to you, who should Conor come back against? Who do you say? Who's your pick?
Looking for that headline, eh?
No, listen, I'm not the one writing any headlines. I don't do any of it.
I know.
I can't help what the other people do.
Bad side, Ariel. I see over the last couple of weeks, anybody that slightly steps against you, it seems to be on the end of a 10-7. So I don't want none of that heat, Ariel.
You would never get that heat. You would never get that heat.
I don't want the smoke, as the kids say. Who against, you know, God, like I know I'm asked this so often, and like I have to be honest when I say, like, I really don't mind what matters to me is that, let's say I'm seeing Conor this week and we're chatting and he says a few names and I see a name particularly gets the eyes open and particularly gets him pacing up and down the living room and showing me what he's going to do and what he's not going to do. That would be absolutely the most important thing for me, is that it's a name that's going to excite him, because, you know, as for Conor, for training for this next fight, he's definitely got to find something that's massively, I hate this word, motivating to him, that's going to get him, you know, out of the silk pants and into the sweaty gym. And you know, what's it going to be? A couple million more? Is that really going to motivate him? I don't think so. He has a couple of championship belts already. Is that it? I don't think so. So I think it's more going to be a particular opponent, a particular skill set, and how it matches up against him. You know, you've got the great Nate Diaz is obviously in there. Justin Gaethje, I think, would be a very interesting matchup. Someone he hasn't fought before. The Poirier fighter, we've done that so many times at this stage, and it's just a weird one.
Chandler's out there, right?
Michael Chandler, yeah. a great fighter, great athlete. They're all brilliant. They're all going to bring something different to the contest. What I would be looking for is the one name that gets Conor moving, gets him off his stool, gets him moving around, and gets him excited. Some of the names I've heard him mention before, he's like, yeah, I'd fight him, but if I see that level of lack of interest, well, then I'd be nervous that may not get him through like 12 weeks of being in a very tough environment. Whereas if it's a name that does exciting, well, then training is fun and training is easy.
I love it. Well, that is very exciting, and what Johnny's doing is very exciting, and I'm happy to hear that the gym is doing well, and I can't wait. That Bellator Dublin show is my favorite of the year that Bellator puts on. Just the crowd is amazing. I won't be there, and I haven't been to Ireland since 2014, since the Brandau fight, but I'm saying it right now, John, you will see my face if they do Katie Taylor versus Amanda Serrano at Croke Park. I am going there come hell or high water. I have to be there for that. So perhaps I will get to see you back in your beautiful country later on this year. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming on. Did you want to say something? It seemed like you wanted to say something there.
No, I'm just going to say thanks very much for having me on again. It's a pleasure to be here.
Again, and don't be a stranger, okay? Anytime. Anytime.
I'll see you again.
All right. Thank you so much, John. Congratulations. Welcome back home. There he is, the great John Kavanagh of SBG Ireland. They are doing big things over there. And Johnny Walker, as he said, could be maybe 2 away from fighting for the belt at 205 pounds. All right. I said at the top of the show that our last guest of the day, Luke Rockhold, had a few things to say, had a few things to get off his chest, had a few items to get out there. Dare I say some breaking news. So without further ado, let us go to the former Strikeforce middleweight champion, the former UFC middleweight champion, our old pal, Luke Rockhold. Hello. Hello, Luke. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Just got back done from training. Doing my thing. Feels good.
Congrats on the Niners.
To start.
Yeah, not bad. 2 more to go. I mean, not exactly the best showing of all time, but a win is a win. So all good, right?
I mean, I'd say it was pretty good.
I mean,
Cowboys. I think we tested the Eagles, and we're gonna have that next, that big matchup, Kansas City, and I think this could be our year. It could be a pretty year.
Wow. Well said. Well said.
I think it'll be a pretty year for all of us.
Yes. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, what a transition that is, Luke. So I don't want to beat around the bush. Just to break the fourth wall, I got a text from you on Friday. You told me something very exciting, and I said, well, let's talk about it on the show on Monday. And so you're kind enough to come on. What is it? What do you got to share with the world?
Your man's a free agent, free and clear, and I'm ready to, kind of re-inspired to go out there and do something new. Like I think, Kavanagh, I just heard Kavanagh said, you need something that inspires you. I need a new setting. I need a new challenge. It's like where I was and trying to find someone who's going to get me up, get me motivated, and get something that really gets me going. You get burnt out in the game, and when you've done so much, and you need new obstacles. So, with as much time as I've taken off with fighting, those years off, coming back in to the fight game was it was a long ways. I was went through a lot of injuries and things, and so just getting back in there was a lot. But since then, it's like I've kind of found that inspiration, found that reinvigorated my interest in fighting and my abilities, and I feel like I'm just getting better. I feel like it's finding my tempo. I found my golf, and that feels fucking good. It feels good to be back in there, and I'm excited to be back here in Cali, of course, and the training versus Florida. It's just more me.
Okay, so there's a lot there. There's a lot there.
Mountains to climb.
Yes. No, this is very exciting. But Luke, I have to ask, last time we saw you in action was Paulo Costa, right? Over the summer, late August, late summer. Correct me if I'm wrong. You still had fights left on your UFC contract. So how are you a free agent?
Because I've done my thing in the sport, and I've always been amicable with Hunter Campbell, at least. Me and Dana obviously haven't seen eye to eye, and we've had our differences. But I've been through some injuries and some things, and I just need, I've done my thing, and I asked for a release. I asked for my freedom to be able to go do things elsewhere, and I was granted that. Me and Hunter have, I've paid my dues, and he granted me my wish to be able to go have freedom, to go box, to go fight elsewhere. There's a lot of different avenues, as you've seen with the Nate Diaz and Francis and a lot of people else. There's interesting, innovative companies coming up, and there's a lot of things to correct in this world. So Hunter called me and gave me the call this last week and was like, "Is this what you want?" And I said, yes, this is what I want. I need that new interest. I need some freedom. I want to go out there and do something new, be inspired. And he said, "You've done it all in the sport. There's nothing left. I know there's a lot else out there for you, and I don't want to restrict you from that. And you'll always have a friend of me, and always be here for you if you need me. So the door is always open. But I want to go fuck some people up. I want to go change and correct this bullshit that's going on out there. And I think there's other companies, of course. There's PFL, Peter Murray. I think he's a fucking smart, sharp dude, and then they're doing some cool things where the best fight the best. People aren't jumping each other. You know what I mean? This jumping, this bullshit. Let's keep the bullshit the bullshit. If you want to go bullshit, we can go box and we can beat up these bullshit fucking YouTubers too.
Oh.
I think there's opportunities there, and like I said, I'm just finding my rhythm in the boxing, and my legs could take a little break every once in a while. I fucking thrown those things, and so I would like to put some hands on some people, and I would like to invest in some other fights. I mean, obviously, I'm good friends with Scott Coker, and there's Bellator doing some big things. One Championship is doing some fucking cool shit too. They're coming here to the States. They got grappling, they got boxing, we got everything. It's like, that's what I want. I've done so much, and so I want opportunity to go box, go grapple, go fight, go win another fucking belt. No man in history has won the 3 major belts.
Well, I love this.
Gets me fucking excited.
I could see the motivation. I could see the excitement. And by the way, shout out to Hunter Campbell. Historically, they don't do this sort of thing, right? And so I think it's very notable and commendable that he did that. Could I just ask one last thing on this? How many fights did you have left? Because I think that's important. Like if there were a bunch and they let you go, I think it says a lot and should be mentioned.
I mean, there was
more than one
left.
Okay.
There was a couple left, and like I put my time in. I took fights when I shouldn't have had to take fights, and and we've always had good rapport, like I said, and been through injuries and things, and I fought through, and he knows what I've done and what we've done together, and so I think he appreciates me, and I appreciate him, and his opportunities, and thank you, appreciate you, bro.
How's the health? Like meaning, like how soon could you fight?
I could fight pretty damn soon.
Okay.
I could box at any time, any day. I'm training every day. I'm pretty much in training camp, turning it on, just like with my boy Chito. So I'm feeling off that energy, and I'm pushing it. We got a lot of shit going, so I feel sharper than I've ever been.
Okay, so nose, everything okay?
Nose was okay in no time. I had a couple ankle surgeries. Unfortunately, I had a fucking I wouldn't say it. It was a bad surgery that wasn't exactly what I had in mind, and the doctor had put some metal in my ankle and had to go have a second surgery to take it out. And so it's been a bitch a little bit, but this shit feels good now.
Okay.
And I'm moving. I'm dancing, and I'm fucking hitting hard. So I'm ready.
And ultimately, when we last saw you, you said you were done. Was it just a matter of needing that release, needing that freedom to allow you to keep fighting? Like ultimately, why have you decided to keep on fighting? UFC or not, in the cage in Salt Lake City, it seemed like you had enough. And it was an emotional scene, DC's there and everything. Why are you deciding to resume fighting?
Like I said, it was 3 years off of not doing shit.
Yeah.
And coming back to fight at the top of the game, I needed someone who inspired me. I didn't like Paulo Costa. I believed I could beat him. I still believe I could beat him. I believe there was moments in that fight. If you saw when I wanted it, the fight was mine. I went in there. I broke my nose in the first exchange. We fought at altitude. We were supposed to fight in Vegas. He bitched out. We were supposed to fight in Dallas. He bitched out again and went to Utah, which is not what I had in mind. I didn't fight, but at that time, there was no one else that really fucking got me going. And so I took the fight anyway, knowing the altitude and that issue. All the time off, he did break my nose, and that robbed me of my breathing, and my body fucking, it's a little bit hard at altitude without fucking being able to breathe through your nose. So I recommend somebody try that and getting through a fight.
Right.
It's when your nose is shifting all over your face and you're fucking going through that shit. But if we did that again, there's no doubt in my mind I'd beat that kid's ass. There's no doubt. I'm getting better too. That time off and now just being in the gym and getting that inspiration back, I'm getting better. I'm getting dangerous. Like I said, it's like the tempo. It's like that boxing, that tempo. I'm finding that power in my hands, and I believe I can put anybody to sleep.
Well,
and not just relying on my kicking and my grappling, but I can still do that too better than anybody else.
So I'd be remiss, during that fight, Jake Paul was very outspoken about you and Paulo and the fight itself. I defended your honor. I came to, not that you needed me to, but, I just want to let the record show I defended your honor. And you talk about these guys. Like, is that the fight? Is that the motivation here to fight Jake Paul, to be the guy to to beat him, the MMA guy to beat him? Is that what you want? If we were to make a wish list right now, is a boxing match against Jake Paul number one?
I mean, it'd be fun. It'd be fun to correct that situation. Him or his brother. Or both. They're into spectacles. They're YouTube kids or whatever. But they both want to legitimize themselves. But they're both fighting little fucking guys. Jake fights a welterweight with no hands. And he barely gets through. He gets through that. All right. Then he fights Tyrone Woodley, a welterweight with one hand. And Tyrone's my boy, but with all due respect, he doesn't pull the trigger anymore. And I'll pull the trigger and I'll hit my fucking mark. And I'm a middleweight. I'm a real fucking man at your weight, straight up. And Logan too. Either way, doesn't matter. But there's so many other things that are going on. He says he wants to fight MMA, which is bullshit. You know, grow up. Now he's fighting Tommy Fury. Come the fuck on. Tommy Fury, he's about as much of a boxer as I'm a cricket player.
What?
This fucking bullshit. This kid wants to legitimize himself. He fights Anderson Silva, his old ass, as a senior citizen. This kid, I don't know who won that fight. Do you? I mean, could you really say that he actually won that fight?
I thought he did enough to win that one, especially with the knockdown in the eighth. I thought he did enough. You don't think? I mean, Tommy Fury has like what, 8 pro boxing bouts? You're not impressed?
I've seen a couple of the guys, and they're not. It's not. No one notable. No one is going to stand there and actually throw a punch back at you. We know all we know boxing is. Boxing is just it's a build-up stage. And Tommy Fury's not a boxer. Come on, let's just be real. Have you seen the kid throw punches?
And why?
I put Tommy Fury to sleep in one round.
Really? In boxing?
In boxing, straight up. I've boxed some of the best guys in the world. I've boxed Andrew Tabiti back in the day when I was barefoot in going into Floyd's gym, barefoot, and I could barely box at all. I'm a lot better now, and I know what I'm capable of. I've been in and about with a lot of people who can throw hands. I put Paulo Costa on fucking Queer Street. How many times? With my hands, not my feet.
Why do you think his intentions of competing in MMA are BS?
I just don't think he really wants it. I think that's all a spectacle. That's like, what, you want to be a boxer and then you want to go box Tommy Fury? Like graduate up. You know, you fighting welterweights, you fighting smaller guys. It's just like these guys it's a show. If you want to put on a show, I'll fight both those kids in the same night. I'll fight them round to round, whatever you want to do. But I want to do everything else too. I want to fight. I want to fight in some leagues and fight some guys that get me going. Where I was in the UFC, I mean, who is going to get me excited?
Right.
The only guy that really gets me excited in the UFC is it would have been like an Israel, a Robert Whitaker, or going into Pereira, and I have to work my way back through that again. And it's just like, and for what it's worth, it's not really worth my time. I need something new. I need to be interested. I need to be fucking invigorated through it. So I like freedom, just like Francis. Freedom, just like Nate. Freedom is a beautiful thing.
It is.
And I'm enjoying that.
By the way, what do you make of the whole Francis situation?
I respect Francis. Me and Francis have always seen eye to eye. And I have absolutely the most respect for Francis making his choice and wanting his freedom. Freedom is a fucking thing. It's a negotiations are not fun with Dana. I've been through a lot of them.
Right. Do you agree with Dana that basically the whole company sinks if he's not around? That theory that he put out. You know, he said, you know, if I leave, if I get punished for what he did on New Year's Day, it hurts the company more than it hurts me. Did you see that press conference when he said that?
I did not see that press conference, but I think there's it's the way of negotiations favors Dana. I mean, without Dana, the sport is better. The company might have to make make amends with the fighters.
Got it.
I think that's when you get legitimacy to the pace, to the
Right.
scales, which is Dana holds the scales.
Are you surprised nothing happened to him?
W. Me and William Morris likes it that way.
Sure.
And so they don't want that. They don't want that to change.
Are you surprised nothing happened?
Yeah, very much.
You are.
And then slap fighting. I don't like this slap fighting thing. It's fucking stupid. To put that on the same stage as us and like just promote it on the same stage, it's fucking dumb. I'm tired of seeing it, tired of being a part of it, really.
Yeah.
I feel like it's part of us. It's kind of stupid. I mean, you put anybody, if you put a big fucking man who could throw his hands in front of him with a clean shot, anyone's going to go to sleep. Where's the technique? Where's the point of it? It's just the world's just turning into shit. It's fucking, have some technique, have some skill, have some fucking.
No, it's a joke. It's not going to last, though. The ratings were horrible for the first week. The lead-in, which was AEW Wrestling, had almost 1 million viewers. They couldn't even crack 300, so they weren't able to keep the audience. And I can guarantee you, week 2 is going to be worse. You know what's even worse than like the Dana promoting it doesn't surprise me. It's utterly embarrassing that the Nevada State Athletic Commission would sanction this. They're supposed to be, the top 2 commission in the country, them in California. California hasn't sanctioned it. And I'm embarrassed to see respected officials, referees, UFC officials work on this. Like you are ruining any credibility that you once had being a part of this. This isn't sport. This is garbage. It's total garbage.
No, not at all. I was just in Vegas with Dan Henderson and Chuck Liddell, and we all feel the same. We all had lunch, and we're just like, this is fucking stupid. It just devalues everything we've built in this world, and to put us on the same, like, promoted on the same stage is just like fucking, just like it's a bit of a fuck you.
When I spoke to you right before, and even the lead up to that Costa fight, you were very outspoken. It took a lot of guts to say the things that you were saying. Now that is all gone, do you feel like a weight has been lifted? Do you feel like the clouds have opened up? Like, there was animosity there, right? Like you were fighting a little bit with some animosity, with some anger. Now you don't have to worry about that shit anymore. You don't have to worry about, the pay or the uniform and all that stuff. Do you feel some sort of relief that is all gone now?
Not really. I mean, it's nice to be through that, but I still have that chip on my shoulder. I still have more to prove, more to do. And I feel like I can build upon what I've done and create a legacy here. So I'm going to go in there with that same fire to get back into training and find something that inspires me to come back and keep correcting fucking the world. The world's fucking going to shit. So 2023 is the year of correction.
Okay.
I'm going to come for it. I'm going to come for everybody.
Your prediction when you fight? When do you fight?
I'd say within the next 4 months.
Okay.
I've done everything outside of fighting, and I'm not interested in it. I'm interested in like, it's like if I stop the direction of where I'm going, my body starts to it doesn't like that. I enjoy this journey of health and figuring out how to be better in every way. It's the high I want now. I'm not looking to do anything else. I'm single. I'm fucking hungry, and there's nothing else I want more than to put heads on my wall.
I like, obviously now that this is out there, I can see Bellator makes all the sense in the world with your relationship with Scott, and their middleweight division could use you. Like a fight with you and Mousasi, that's super interesting to me, among many others. PFL doing big things makes sense. One coming to America, as you said. Does anyone know that you're a free agent yet? Like, have you had any chats with anyone yet, or is this the first time that you're really saying it to the world?
This is the first time it's public, but
okay.
This is I'm of course. I'm a fucking businessman.
All right.
I'm a fighter. We're talking, and things are
Who
things
are
are going.
To? What's happening? Tell us.
We're talking to everybody.
Okay.
I'm keeping my options open, like freedom. Like I said, freedom. This is about freedom and the ability to go do things that inspire me and keep me motivated. You burn out in anything in life. I've been fighting for fucking 17 years. I've been fighting the best guys in the world since 2011. Almost everybody I fought is in the like fucking championship fight level fight since 2011. So put that in your head. I'm still here. I'm still fucking putting people out. I mean, you look at the last fights I've had. I mean, I have a championship fight where Yoel missed weight, which was bullshit. I would go to a number one contender fight with Jan at the next weight class up, and then I fight Paulo Costa after 3 years off, and I think that fight could have been mine easily. If that fight goes any longer, it's mine. If that fight goes again, it's mine. I'm still here. I'm still getting better, and I'm gonna be coming for anybody who steps in front of me.
You know, it's a great idea. Costa's contract coming to an end as well. Rematch, just in a different spot, right? I mean, that would be a big one.
Costa doesn't want that. I promise you, Costa doesn't want that. I'll box Costa straight up.
Oh my!
He wants to do that.
I can ask him. But so are you? It seems like you're leaning towards the first fight in this freedom era of yours being a boxing match. Is that fair?
I'm not going to say that.
Okay, all right. You're open to anything.
I said, I'm open to a lot of things. I think boxing it sounds fun. Just got to be something that inspires me. Got to be like, you know, there's a lot. There's some, who knows? There's all kinds of different people stepping up wanting to box. If one of them, you know, gets me fired up. It's nice. It's nice not to fucking, you know, it's like it's a different avenue. It's a different art, and it's fucking inspiring to get in there and to go push that. You know, to go in there and to go fucking fight and grapple and do this shit every day. It's like you burn out. Yeah. So just to focus on one thing. It's fun. It's new. It's creative. I'm fucking liking it.
Wow. Well, this is very exciting. And again, historically, the UFC doesn't do this sort of thing. So perhaps it's, you know, Dana likes to say all the time, if you don't want to be here, don't stay. But you know as well as anyone, it's not that easy, right? I mean, how many years do you how long have you been trying to get out of your contract? How many times?
I just asked.
Oh, it was just one time? I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Hey, I know people.
Sure,
and I've done things.
It's good to have relationships.
Like, hey, not everybody has the same fucking power I have. And I'm going to fucking express that power. I'm going to use that power. I'm going to fucking go show that power wherever I want.
And could I ask before I let you go, like, do you think, you know, Nate's free. He was able to beat the system, if you will, there. You know, they didn't want him to leave with a win. Francis now free man. Who knows what happens? Tyson Fury over the weekend said, let's go, Francis. You're now free. Are we seeing something? Is something happening here? Are the fighters getting more power? More like how or is this just three separate circumstances, a coincidence, if you will?
I'd like to hope so. I think things are shifting. I think there's a shift, and I think there's some reality to it. I think there's a lot of bullshit going on, and but you know, I think, like I said, I think 2023 could be a year of correction. I think we could fix a lot of shit this year. So I'm excited to be a part of that. And let's go, boys. Francis, I wish all the best. Nate, I wish all the best. Myself, let's go fucking make some shit happen.
Awesome. Thank you for doing this, Luke. Thank you for coming on. Congratulations. Very happy for you. And I can't wait to see what you do. And when you decide what you'll do, please come back on, all right?
Gotcha. Let's do it.
All right, there he is. The great Luke Rockhold, the former middleweight champion of the UFC, the former Strikeforce middleweight champion as well. It's very exciting stuff. Things are happening here. I'm curious to get the guys' take on what Luke Rockhold should do, but I would watch Luke Rockhold versus Jake Paul. What's the line for that, GC? Luke Rockhold, Jake Paul.
I don't know what the line is, but I mean, of course I'm tuning in.
You're the line setter. I like to ask you these things.
I mean, you'd think Jake Paul would be the favorite, right?
What do you guys want to see for Luke?
Ask Rick, man. Rick was hyped up about.
Oh, you were hyped?
Interview. Yeah,
I'm hyped too. I don't know. Are you being
fired up?
There may be some sarcasm on that.
I was. I think. By the way, if I'm Bellator, I would for the success they had together. Obviously, it was 10 years ago, but like they have a great relationship. Maybe he injects a little life into that middleweight division. There's not a ton going on.
there are fights out there that I would watch Luke Rockhold in for sure, and they are not in the UFC. So I think that this separation makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think there needs to be some honesty in some of the losses. You know,
I mean, it was a long layoff. It was a very long layoff prior to this this last fight. So this last fight was in obviously August. Prior to that was 3 years ago, right? The Jan fight. Lifetime ago. Prior to that was a year and a half. Prior to that was 6 months. Prior to that was another year. I mean, he hasn't been.
So even that we need a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
But if he says he's good, I mean, and maybe it is just focusing on one discipline. And I'm not saying have him fight, a top level 185er. I don't think he's saying that right now. But I would watch him versus Jake.
100%. Of course. I'm in for him.
More competitive fight. Luke, Jake, Tommy, Jake.
Luke, Jake.
Tommy, Jake.
More competitive fight. Nate, Jake, Luke, Jake.
Nate, Jake.
The size is going to be tricky for Nate.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big boy.
He's a better boxer.
Who is?
Nate.
Than Luke?
Yeah.
And there was a time where I thought Luke Rockhold was going to be UFC middleweight champion for 5, 6, 7 years. I remember when he beat Weidman the way in which he did. I know this is 7 years ago, but he was, I mean, he had skills. And I still think he does have skills.
No doubt he had skills. Not I think, this is a complicated thing to unpack in a short amount of time. But yeah, as far as complete packages go, the man had some insanely impressive offensive grappling and jiu-jitsu packaged with some really capable and competent kickboxing. The chin was the thing. It's not a secret.
Took some big shots against Paulo Costa. I think a lot of people thought that fight would end sooner. I don't know. Yeah. I'm hyped. And results aside, again, I think it's very, very, very notable. Again, we call it like we see it here. UFC doesn't have to let him go. So they deserve credit for that. Now, obviously, you have a guy who's disgruntled. He's saying this, he's saying that. Maybe in their best interest, let's just cut ties. But historically, they don't do that sort of thing. Even if you are disgruntled, they just say, tough luck, you're sitting on the sidelines. So, maybe what Dana said is true. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. He has said this for 15 years, and it's never been true, but maybe it's a new thing. I don't know.
This feels like the correct move for both parties, no doubt.
100%. And really, if you ask me, should have been done a long time ago because he was asking for this a long time ago, and they weren't letting him out. So, by the way, imagine if Costa gets free. Costa versus Luke 2 in PFL or Bellator.
I'd rather watch it as
Costa
a boxing
wins
match.
again.
As a boxing match, really?
I mean, we saw the MMA fight. But
3-year layoff. What do you mean not competitive? It was a pretty competitive fight. What are you talking about? You're crazy.
It was fun.
It was fun, but
it wasn't competitive.
Clear for Costa.
Nah, I thought it was competitive. He had his moments. He had a 3-year layoff. 3-year layoff. You can't.
Okay, you're arguing two different things.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give him some time. Now he just fought. He gets a foot. Also,
that doesn't mean the fight was competitive.
Yeah.
Because there's reasons that he didn't look as good. Whoa. That doesn't mean the fight was competitive.
This is crazy.
It's not crazy. It's not crazy.
Anyway, I'm very excited about it. We have to do a little ad read here, and then we're going to recap the weekend. Also, how about Tyson Fury saying, "Hey, Francis, let's go." He said, "In a cage." This was to seconds out. In a cage, 4-ounce gloves. Mike Tyson, a special guest referee. I mean, he had it all laid out. Who doesn't want that? As always, we are brought to you by our good friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. I tried to campaign Frank to read a different ad this week, but I have to read about the conference championship games. The best part about today is it's been 3 hours and I haven't thought about the Bills losing. So it's been a great, great gift to my soul, my psyche, my heart, my mind, my heart. I'll say that again.
Wait, so you were able to talk about the 49ers with Luke and not think about
I didn't think about the Bills, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. You know what? That's the first thing I went to.
Unlike Bengals fans, I'm allowed to be happy for other people. I'm not going to be like a salty, oh, who day, oh, who day. Everybody. That's the answer to who day. Everybody, okay? 4 NFL teams, Frank, 2 conference championship games, and only a few more shots to win big on the playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. They're counting down to Super Bowl 57, Frank. New customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. All you have to do, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the code THEMMAHour. Very simple. New customers can bet $5 on the conference championship and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code THEMMAHour. I love this music. I feel like, is this Brazilian? What is this, a little salsa?
No.
What do we got?
Pacaton.
I'm not sure what that is, but it sounds great. I love it. What is it, Andy? What is that? No, I mean, like, what is it? Like, Dominican. I love it. Now, what makes this Dominican?
None of this is going to air, by the way.
Oh, well, okay. Andy said, by the way, on Wednesday, Frank, GC was there. Did you see when Frank said, stop asking if it's going to air? It's always going to air. Did you not say that to me on Wednesday?
Andy, do not say anything to him during the show today because it's not going to air.
Oh,
I don't want to be in this position.
Do you remember this when he said to me?
Ridiculous.
I have to side with Area. You should have given him a heads up in this.
You literally said to me on Wednesday, stop
Less
asking.
if I told him, he'd be like, why not? Then I have to go through a whole list.
Okay, so first of all, it's
now you have to explain it on the air. I mean, it was very aggressive on Wednesday.
It was very aggressive.
We were eating dinner, food was flying out of your mouth.
He's like, stop
so crazy.
asking if it's going to air. And oh, by the way, your cough button doesn't work. Sorry, I didn't mention it during the biggest interview in the history of the show, and you're coughing right into the microphone.
All-time moment.
I cut that off. I mean, really, Frank. Anyway, 21 and older in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-HOPE-NY. That's 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. That's 467-369. Void in Ohio and Ontario. Bonus issued as free bets. One boost per eligible game. Deposit, parlay, and wagering restrictions apply. Eligibility and terms. Over at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms. All right, so you may have heard at the top of the show, the Parlay Pals had their first losing Saturday in 5-6 weeks? Well, actually more than that if you count the holiday, right? It's been a while. It's been since Black Friday.
I was going to say, technically, you said losing Saturday. The last loss was a Friday.
That's right. Yeah, we haven't had. I mean, so I guess it was probably the previous Saturday from Black Friday because we were on a bit of a streak there.
We were on a bad tear, so we welcome back the man of the hour.
Wow.
Serious, Frank.
Thank you.
How does it feel, Frank?
Welcome back, Frank.
You didn't say anything. I guess you were here working on the watch party. Did you celebrate? Are you happy to be back?
It's
By the way,
sweet.
do you even want to be back? Because lest we forget, we didn't kick you out. You retired.
No, I'm pretty sure that was a kick out because I said that
I love the lower third. That's tremendous.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Anyway, I'm glad to be back. I'm sorry that you guys lost. Let's not do it again. Cool? Cool, K?
Okay. You are back. Welcome back.
Well, wait, before we get into this, are we establishing the thing where if you're the sole person that causes it, now that
I love how the conditions have changed since I was gone.
Well, honestly, I mean, I think I brought up like a really good idea, and all of you guys shat on it. So I'm kind of like taking a step back.
It was a pretty bad idea. We're saying
it was a bad one, and we countered with a good one.
So what is it again?
We took a vote on it.
If you were only if one person blows the parlay, they are out until the next cycle.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I'm down with that.
But it must be a soul
blow. It only goes down to 3. And then the next time you lose,
it's always minimum 3.
So, for example, like let's say like we've got a sure bet thing. It's like easy, surefire, but someone says he wants to do, under 1.5 for whatever reason to flex. That person loses, you'd be out. Okay. I mean, listen.
The check you're writing the next time your minus 900 loses will pay dividends for me later on.
It could very well happen. But listen,
this is
not on Saturday. Josiane Nunes
story.
Josiane Nunes, easy.
I might even immortalize her for that great win.
Yeah.
Oof.
Minus 500, spot online.
Yeah. What was the minus? What was the under 1.5 anyway?
Minus 350.
And what was the 2.5?
Minus 800.
Yeah, I mean, tough one. How was the rest of the night?
Just as bad as the Parlay Pals.
Oh, see, I feel like I'm taking some of the heat here because of that. Like, I feel like it's a little bit.
I think I am deflecting a little bit.
Okay, thank you. I
tough to
appreciate
deal with it. If you watch the watch along, you saw me as each round went by, just become more and more just disgusted with myself as I realized the fight was going to go the distance big time overexposure on the fight does not go. We can recap it here. We do all right on the singles. It is what it is. And in actuality, we did pretty terribly. Lose Glover, lose the under 2.5. There was a moment there where it looked like it was going to end right before the under 2.5. We're talking about a great week, up 4 or so units. That was not the case. Glover Teixeira's toughness continues on. Parlays we do bad on too. Lose about 3 parlays because the fight goes to a decision. Lose almost 7 units. Not great. Not great. Tough one to deal with. Off to a bad start for 2023. Down almost 8 units. But let's go to some positives here. I think because we're having this at the start of a new year, it kind of lets me realize, let's tighten it up. Maybe too many bets, maybe just firing off. We've been doing too well, so we've kind of gotten too comfortable with just firing off bets. We want to tighten things up, get back to the surefire ones, the ones that we feel confident in, and right the ship. I look forward to getting everything back in the green because I can assure not only myself, but everyone, we will find ourselves in the green.
Oh, of course.
One positive. Shout out to the chat on the watch party. I mean, this thing is absolutely beautiful. We hit 2 bets, 2 plus money bets. I turned $10 into 107. I mean, it was fantastic. I can't rely on the chat enough. Granted, I rode the winnings and
Did you have to?
Yeah. I threw them into an incinerator by placing them on the Buffalo Bills.
Fuck off. I mean, that's fucked up.
Someone's going to ask you not to.
You knew it. You saw it before the game. Like, we were all riding. We were all riding high.
I thought
What
you
did
were
you
going to
wear?
take Mike out for weeks.
What did you wear?
I didn't wear anything. It was,
you told us
You
last
didn't wear
week.
the jersey either.
Why didn't you wear the jersey?
It was all natural. What is this? Now
You even last
Yeah,
week
we
you were
needed
like, I almost
last week you
forgot.
said I almost forgot. Bad first half. You put the jersey on,
And then we
Tables
won.
This week you don't even bother to put it on.
I wear the jersey.
With
then
great
I get,
power comes great
Then
responsibility.
I get all these
Connor.
texts. Connor, take the jersey off.
Have I ever said take the jersey off?
Yes.
I have never said that. I have
Wait a minute.
literally never
You
said
it in the
that.
group chat one time. I'm going to have to pull up the receipts post.
Wow. Frank, do you recall me saying take the jersey off? I would
Only
never
when
say
he
that.
wore the Belgian one.
Oh yeah, that was a real thing.
That was an obvious
No,
one.
no. The
No.
Bills, I've never said that. I mean, of course, Von
You did
Miller
say
out
that.
for the
You were like, all right,
season.
it's time to take the jersey off.
I've never said that.
Shout out to the Draft King. C. Chris won.
I feel like I know C. Chris one. Is he a regular?
Yeah, I think he is.
All right.
Maybe. And let's do some big hitters. I mean, there are a couple crazy ones this week. I have to say, there are a couple crazy ones.
Here we go. Yeah. Big hitters with an S or Z.
Did these in a little bit of a rush, so I hope I get everybody's names right here. I just have to read this one out. This is absolutely insane. $20 plus 16,700. He takes Gilbert Burns by submission plus 180. Brandon Moreno by KO TKO plus 500. And then to finish off the parlay, to finish this off, Jamahal Hill by decision plus 900. Turns $20 into 3,400. I can't imagine what he was feeling when, like, those moments where it was like, oh, are they going to stop the fight? Goddard barking at Teixeira, you need to defend yourself. You need to fight back. All the way to the end, man. Gets the decision. $3,500. Like, that's a great night at the office. I have to say, that is a great night at the office. Shout out to MMA Freak. Next up, Louis 99. I want to say we've featured him before. A nice hit by him. 3 legs. Bruno Ferreira KO round 1. Fantastic call. I can't imagine how crazy he went when he deaded Gregory Rodriguez. Iho Pretoria KO in round 1. And Johnny Walker KO and round 1. I honestly would have thought that this would pay more. Almost 100 to 1. Plus 9,600. 3 first round KO parlay turns $5 into 480. Just insane. Shout out to Louis. Next up, a little exacta here. Souls UFC, $100 on Brandon Moreno to win by KO TKO in round 3, 4, or 5 plus 1,600. Turns $100 into 1,700. In between rounds, Can you just imagine that doctor coming up and they're like, "Oh, yeah, they're going to stop it." Like, I'm doing laps around the house if I'm hitting that. Just insanity. And then last but not least, a little shout out to Pac-Man Down Under, plus 4,300. Ihor Pretoria by KO. Johnny Walker by KO in round 1. Jessica Andrade, Brandon Moreno by KO or submission. Jamahal Hill to finish it out. Turns $10 into 430.
Oh, yeah.
Great night for all 4 of them. I still can't get over parlaying up Jamahal Hill by decision with Brandon Moreno KO and Gilbert Burns by submission. Absolutely insane plays. Shout out to all of them. Congratulations on fantastic nights.
Well done, well done. I'm very excited about this week because there is no UFC. Does this mean that the lone activity is the Royal Rumble draft?
I think so.
Yeah.
I was thinking about how do we do this? Do you have a pot with all the numbers in there?
I want to do. I think we should do it a la Champions League. Okay, there's 2 ways we do it. We either do. Okay, there's actually 3 ways we do it. Okay, try not to be such a Debbie Downer on this, Near Crick. All right, like let's have some fun. Okay,
I'm surely going to.
First of all, I'm going to be there, so I'd like to have a little investment into this. You know, I'm going to be there. First time. Anyone been to San Antonio here?
Yeah,
nice place.
it's pretty nice.
Yeah. Any recommendations?
Just go to the Riverwalk.
That's it. I mean, I could have figured that out.
Check out the Ripley's Museum. Go to the
Spurs
Alamo.
game.
Ripley's Museum. I could do that in Times Square over here.
You wanted a
Oh,
suggestion.
they have a Ripley's in Times Square.
I gave you a suggestion.
Restaurant, the spot. I don't know, something.
The Riverwalk is nice. Check out the Alamo.
All right. I'm going to the Alamo Dome. I'm excited about that. Spurs not in town. Actually, they are in town, but it's the same night as the Rumble. So I will be there as of Thursday.
There's also
I'm
a
looking forward
natural
to it.
cave out there that you should check out.
Interesting.
The kids will probably love
I should
it.
check out. I'm not going with my kids.
Ariel's a big cave guy.
Yeah, what am I doing in cave? When I was a kid, I always wanted to go, for some reason, to every NBA city. I didn't want to go to every NBA arena, per se, even though that would have been cool, but I just wanted to say that I went to every NBA city for some reason. I think there's 4 left for me.
Wow.
San Antonio, Portland, Charlotte. I've been to the Charlotte airport. I don't know if that counts.
Does not count.
Okay, so Charlotte, and there was one more. I looked into this, and so I'm happy to cross one
that's pretty good.
off the list. Yeah.
And Portland and Charlotte are awesome. So there you go.
I want to go
you're
to
in for a good
Portland.
one.
Yeah, I want to go to Portland. Anyway, so San Antonio. So these are the options. Royal Rumble, best event of the year. We either go, and is Joe in? Because we need.
He's in.
Yeah, Joe's in. All right. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. Each one of us gets 6 slots. There's 30 slots total. Here's the thing. We can all pick a slot. So like, GC, you go first. You're saying I got 27, and then you say I got 18, and then I say I got 4, and then. Might take a little long, right? So that's one.
Probably.
So number 2 is, all right, GC, you get the first pick. You get 5 picks. And then you go and you get the next 5 picks. You see what I'm saying? And then the last guy, tough luck, you just get those last 5. Or we do Champions League style and we have like the big bucket and it's like, and we all pick
I'm
numbers.
on Amazon right now looking for
The
it.
bucket is
Number 3
motorized.
for me.
Wait,
I say number 1 or number 3 because whoever gets first in that pick 5 at once draft is just going to go 26, 27, 28, 29, 30.
no, but I mean, you're showing that you're not a huge wrestling fan. It's a bit of a shocker, but often number 3, number 2, number 1 have won.
So those are the ones we should pick.
I'm just saying. It's not, I mean, it's a.
I say 1 or 3.
By the way,
I'm
it's Royal Rumble.
number 3 and don't care on the other 2. Just pick for me.
By the way,
we have
it's,
the barrel
it's,
thing?
It's
Are we
Royal
gonna-
Rumble, okay? Anything could happen. It could be 16.
I go with number 2.
Anything can happen. They have it set before they go in.
No, not true. Okay, so what are we doing?
Well, we don't have the barrel thing, so
Well, I'm looking at the lottery machine right now. I'm looking up lottery.
I don't think you're going to get it in 2 days.
I could get an Amazon one here tomorrow.
Amazon Prime.
wow.
2 days?
No, it'd be here
Amazon
tomorrow.
has overnight now. I got a delivery at 4 a.m.
Wow.
That's Amazon.
That is insane. Okay, so then, okay, let's say we get the lottery thing.
Yeah.
Are we doing one at a time?
Sounds. I mean,
Yeah, why
actually,
not?
with the lottery, you
gonna take a
wouldn't
whole
have
hour.
to do one.
Oh, now I'm just getting all these exciting thoughts. Like, do we have things? And it's yeah. And it's like,
That's what I'm looking at right now. Here, I could have it here tomorrow.
We can't just do a randomizer on the
$20.
computer?
no, that's no fun.
That's no fun. Come on, Frey.
So I like the lottery thing because then it's just fun. Like I said, it's like Champions League, World Cup. But it is also fun if we're actually targeting numbers. Like if I'm saying I feel 27 is going to be the winner, and then lo and behold, you know,
we
freaking Brock
trade?
Lesnar.
I'm happy if that's what you want. I'm happy for you. I'm happy if you want that and can have that. I have no interest in
Come on,
participating.
don't you want to be?
Not gonna go into research to know what numbers have won the most. Not gonna try and.
I've been
predict who's
thinking
gonna
about
be
this
that
a lot.
number. Don't
I'm not gonna
care.
lie, I really like the idea of the Champions League, and we.
Okay, all right.
Number
All
3.
right, so should I place this order
Yeah, when does it arrive?
tomorrow?
And how many things does it come with?
It comes with way more than 30 balls, but
Are these
we
ping
can
pong balls?
do the first 30, and they are all numbered.
Beautiful.
And then what do we do with this thing once we're done with it? It just sits
I'm
on
sure
the
we can
counter?
find.
Yeah, well,
we
we'll
can
figure
find
something
another
else out.
thing for it. Now, here's the other question: are we
We'll
doing
find
men
another thing.
and women's Rumble? There's 2.
Yeah, we're doing
Oh.
both. We
Okay.
have to do both.
I agree
you
with
get
that.
the same numbers for each Rumble.
Oh wow!
So you have 2 chances to win. That's kind of
I kind of like that.
Now you're excited.
Yeah,
I think he's talking about me.
Five.
yeah. No, I know. I noticed
I'm
that too.
interested in the randomness. I like that.
10 for both? What are we doing?
We run them. Okay, I think the 2-time.
What do you mean 10? Oh,
Just to win.
$10?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
What?
you told me 100, Connor.
Dang.
$10 entry for each, or
Frank has a problem.
What, or is it 10?
I doted my.
He's got a
my
balls
100
addiction
yesterday
and he
drafting
needs
Yeah.
to pay for
Buffalo
it.
Bills.
$10 or 10 per pick, meaning $50.
No. $10. $10 whole, so 5 for women's, 5 for men's, or 10 each.
10 each.
All right.
This
I
can be
like that.
discussed off air.
No, I think this is fun. People like this. Now, are we making any picks? Because I see here Cody Rhodes 5-8, Sami Zayn 2-1, The Rock 4-1. I mean, there's picks to be had.
I know, but I don't know if my book is.
Or are we just going straight? You know, there's the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight. By the way,
Should we
New
drink
York
some
Craig.
Mountain Dew on
By the way,
Wednesday?
New York Craig, don't pretend for a second like you don't know what I'm talking about, Mr.
On it-
Cheap Heat listener.
Okay.
All right, don't kayfabe me here. All right,
Don't get me into dicey territory because
Don't kayfabe me
I don't
here.
know what you're talking about, and there's a reason why I don't know what you're talking about.
come on, you know enough.
I've never.
You don't
heard
know
of
about the
LA
Mount.
Knight.
You don't
I
know
don't
about
know
the
who
Mountain
that
Dew
is.
Pitch Black match.
I've heard of it. I don't know who LA Knight is.
LA Knight's actually pretty good on the mic, I must say. He's
Never
actually
heard of
impressed
this
me.
man.
He talks a lot like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Cody Rhodes
Love it.
minus 140, Rhea Ripley minus 200.
Rhea, come on.
Do they offer? So they're offering that at the book
I feel like they're just gonna win.
What does that mean?
to take the heavy favorite.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're set on randomized lottery balls.
Done.
Yes.
Ordered.
And now Connor is thinking about trying to do some kind of picks, but ultimately feeling like he
No
has to
pressure.
take-
But last year you did picks, right?
Last year I did picks.
Yeah, it was Ronda and Brock.
But we
or
didn't do
something.
the lottery last year.
So you're like,
No, but these are
foregoing the
separate.
picks if
These
the
are
lottery's
separate.
there.
By the way, listen
Yes.
to this. Listen to this promo. How good it
Do
is.
not want to make another donation to a sports book because of that.
Look how good this guy is on the mic,
You didn't win last year. I don't even remember.
guys. This is the promo for the Pitch Black Mountain Dew match.
Okay, hit us.
Mountain Dew pitch black match, dude. Come
I
on.
still happen to be
black.
knocking on Bray Wyatt's front door. And now we're
This is LA Knight right here?
Yes.
do pitch black match. What does that sound like?
Wait, so they
Can't help but hear it.
fight in the dark?
Yeah,
that
what
would
is
be
it? Wait,
cool.
hold on. What is a pitch black match?
They're fighting in the dark.
Oh, I love that.
So how do the fans watch it?
I don't know. That's why you got to tune into
there a
Peacock on
black
Saturday
Mountain Dew?
at 8 p.m.
No. There's a Mountain Dew pitch black, Frank.
So
We're gonna
that's
have to get.
Yes.
what I want. Yeah.
Okay, so
More
this
than
is a
that.
bit
So,
of product
hold on one
placement.
second.
Wow, it looks good.
If you're
A
in the
bit of
arena, you
product
can't see it.
placement.
Like a deep purple or actual black.
A bit of product placement.
It is a little weird that there's like a product attached to the match, but
I don't hate that.
It's
Yeah, that's
because
actually more entertaining.
It looks
It's-
pretty good, dude. I can't lie. It's like
yeah, it looks like Coke, right?
It's like-
no. It's like purple.
Oh, is it? Okay, so maybe it's
Looks
going to be in a purple hue.
that's
Ooh,
acai.
man, it's like
No. The arena. The arena will have like purple
Galaxy
lights everywhere.
soda.
I mean, you
Love it.
have to.
Oh, so there will be some lights in the arena.
They haven't
Fans.
explained it. They haven't explained it.
I'm okay with that.
I'm looking
I like
forward to
that.
this, man. Is it a pay per view
Yeah. Well, actually, it's a premium live
Peacock.
event. Premium live event.
on Peacock?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I don't have to pay extra though.
No.
Oh,
No,
I'm
no,
so
you just
in.
watch it
Frank,
on
you
Peacock.
coming over? You bringing the Mountain Dew pitch black or what?
By the way, you watched it last year. Did you not watch Royal Rumble last year?
Yeah, I did.
It's the best.
enjoyed
It's
it.
the best event of the year as
I
far as
enjoyed
wrestling.
it. I like that we're doing this lottery. I think it's going to be a ton of
It's on
fun.
Saturday at what time?
8.
I have to work.
Suck.
Frank.
It's going to be
Really
great.
depending on you, I was going to guess because your bodega had the balls, they would also have Mountain Dew.
And
Pitch
they
Black.
also have Prime. Shout out. To
Oh,
Prime.
shout out.
Wow, this is a hell of a bodega you got.
It has the
Is it
best bodega cat I've ever seen.
Is it the Wiki Wines?
No.
Anyway, so I'm excited about this. So just to confirm, on Wednesday, we're going to do a lottery where we each get, 6.
Now, how are we going to present? I mean, we could talk about this.
Wait, we each get 6, and it's the same numbers for both, for the men and women's Rumble, correct?
$25 covers both.
Oh, now we're doing 25? I'm fine. All right, I thought we did 20, but that's cool.
20 covers both.
No, I like it. Okay, whatever.
Balls are
25.
$5 a piece.
But we're getting 6. That would make it 30.
25 is harder to split.
And so is it one of these things, GC? Like I'm going,
Yes, exactly.
and then
how are we doing the actual physical picking?
I will do it.
You're just going to pick everybody's
Yeah,
numbers?
I mean,
So you're
You
gonna
can't be
pick
bothered to come
all
in
of
on
I'll be the
Wednesday.
guy. I'll be the Sepp Ladder.
Great.
I mean,
Step ladder.
I love it.
and then I'll walk up there and be like, all these picks have been overseen by the firm Ernst and Young.
Yeah, Ernst and Young in the house.
And you want it to sit on your desk, or is it going to
Feels
be?
like we have corporate Alex do this for integrity purposes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Should
he
have
could
an
be-
advisor.
yes.
He could be standing over your shoulder watching the integrity of this.
Just so the viewers know, that's exactly how all the ideas we have for the show.
Oh, yeah.
They just get workshopped.
This is exciting. I can't wait for
and
this.
Someone orders something from Amazon.
This is
I
gonna
dig
be
it. I'm
amazing.
in.
Okay. Anything else we need to share? And are you sure? By the way, are you sure this is going to arrive in time?
Yeah.
It says when? When's it
If
delivered?
not, look,
The
we get,
delivery is tomorrow.
we get a hat, we cut up some paper, and just do it
See,
old school.
that's
It's fine.
That would
Yeah.
probably.
Not as fun as the.
No, I love that, but
All right, I will say this isn't like
Uh-oh.
it's not the big gold drum.
Wow.
Oh, what is it?
It's just like a black.
And
thing
you
that you're
hand
gonna-
turn it?
Still has a handle that you're gonna turn. Yeah.
Was it expensive?
No.
Okay.
If
Think
we
of like
wanted
a
to get
spherical.
expensive, we can get the gold drum.
Well, then we'll need to make. A
What's the
phone call,
difference
right?
in price?
Like $80.
How much was the regular one?
20.
20.
Oh, this is gonna be so crappy. The $20 one, it's probably gonna be like one that you put here, and it's gonna be like. I feel like if we're gonna go all out, we go all out.
Yeah, we should have $100 thing just sitting in the corner until next year.
80. Don't get crazy.
No,
It's
it's
80
an
more.
$80
It's
difference.
Oh,
Don't get crazy.
I want to look at it after the show.
All right.
Unless you want to put it up on the screen here, and we'll look at it right now.
Come on, man.
Are you still on my Amazon account?
No. That's only on my TV.
Okay, cool.
Okay, well, this is exciting. So that's going to happen on Wednesday because there's no major MMA, right?
None.
Nothing.
None.
It's all about the Royal Rumble Saturday.
Then the next week we get CBS Bellator.
CBS. Oh yeah, well, we got a lot next Saturday. We've got CBS Bellator. We've got
1 a.m.
Derek
fight
Lewis
start.
against Sergey Spivak.
in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, I forgot about that
Yeah.
because it's catering to what, Korean time?
South
Yeah.
Korea.
So what time is the main event or the main card?
Main card starts at 1 a.m. Eastern.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh my God, are you going to stay up for it?
Mm.
You got to.
Too high? Have you looked at the card?
Oh my God, main card 1 a.m. prelims 10 p.m. This is the card, by the way.
Look at the card.
Oof, I'm not even going to attempt to say some of these names. I'm sorry. It is. I feel for these guys. I mean,
4 of the fights are ending the Road to UFC tournament.
but first fight, Japanese fighter. Second fight, South Korean fighter. Third fight, South Korean. This is a card that was built to happen in South Korea.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, what a disaster.
Why?
Headlined by Derek Lewis versus Sergey Spivak.
The most South Korean fight you can put on.
Oh my
Of
God.
course.
Every single fight except for the last 2 has either a South Korean or Japanese fighter. The last 2, oh no, excuse me. Oh yeah, the one right before the quote unquote co-main, second to last, Marcin Tybura against Blagoy Ivanov, and then the main event are those are the only 2 fights on this card that don't involve an Asian fighter. That is we got the return of Doohoo Choi. That's exciting. And then following week, it's 284, rapidly approaching. They've got a couple of pay-per-views, that are in like less than a month territory, which I think
what?
is
We're
very
going
interesting.
284, 3 weeks later, 285, 2 weeks later, 286, 3 weeks later, 287.
Yeah. Crazy. All right. Well, I think we covered everything, except we didn't really get into the Tyson Fury call out. Do you think that's real, or do you think that was just Tyson Fury?
It feels like posturing to me, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest. It feels like, just like last time, utilizing Francis's name to get business done.
Sorry.
What the?
Why would you ask a question and start playing a video?
No, the YouTube thing. I forgot that my volume was up.
But it's always good for Francis to have Tyson saying his name regardless.
Huge.
Like, no matter what the motivation is, it is a win for Francis to have.
I don't like it with the 4-ounce gloves, and like, I want to see a real fight.
If the internet is any indicator, people want that 4-ounce fight. Queensberry rules. Mike Tyson referee. Let's just do it.
Mike Tyson comes down with the striped shirt. That would be incredible. And shout out to Liam Smith with the big win over Chris Eubank. Huge. Wow. Huge, man. Didn't expect that.
Yeah.
I mean, nice to see a Scouser get a legit win.
Yikes.
No, I'm just saying. It's been a while.
Wow.
I'm just what? No. What?
I like Beefy style. I like his boxing style.
Oh, yeah. What a win. Wow.
Liam Smith, if I'm not mistaken, he was on the main card for Serrano Taylor and MSG.
Mm-hmm. I went to Katz's 2 days before that fight with PT and Chuck, and his brother was there. Late night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
No, it was late. It was like 11 p.m.
I was up.
And then I was sitting right in front of his whole family at the. I mean, you were living. I don't know where you were living at the time.
I was
actually. Our friend TST was there. He was there. He enjoyed it.
Wow. This gets worse.
This gets staying at my apartment that weekend.
Wow.
Wow. That's messed up.
Sick. Oh man.
Anyway, I was sitting in front of his family at the fight. They were a great bunch of lads. I like them very much. So, yeah, huge win. Didn't love all the pre-fight chatter. Got ugly on both sides, but big win.
Yeah, it was pretty juvenile.
Yeah, horrible on both sides, honestly. But I said no big MMA, big boxing on Saturday. Artur Beterbiev, who is a disciple of one GSP, is fighting. And then I said February 4th is a big one for MMA, but also I didn't get to mention Frank's gal, Amanda Serrano, back in action. You going to that one, Frank?
I was planning on it.
Yeah? You need ticks?
I do.
Let's see if I can sort you out. Big Eddie going to be in studio next week.
That's exciting. Yeah.
We got a few things to talk about.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Why? Joe likes Eddie?
Oh, he loves Eddie. We both love Eddie. He's a sweetheart. He's a great guy to work with. Do not reach for that button. It doesn't work.
Joe's vehemently shaking his head, but
he will not be able to hear you.
Yeah, it's not going to go to air.
He's the man. I can't tell if you guys are being sarcastic or not.
I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm along for the ride.
I look forward to the times that Eddie Hearn comes in studio. Are you kidding me? By the way,
he's a great guy to work with.
I don't know what you're talking about. But here's the thing. Now more than ever, there's a lot of things to talk to him about because I think he just told IFL TV this morning or last night he's interested in Dillian White, Francis Ngannou.
Whoa. I
Could
like
be a
that.
thing.
Don't mind it.
Nate's out there. Luke Rockhold. Why don't they all sign with Matchroom? That would be something.
Any
Dillian
darts
White, Francis
discussion next
Ngannou.
week?
Any what?
Darts discussion?
Well, we've got darts. We've got the Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor situation. Lee Wood coming to my adopted hometown of Nottingham in February. Big win or big tie on Saturday, of course. And I just saw another thing. Last thing because I mentioned it to John Kavanagh. Now they're saying that Serrano Taylor 2 might be at 3 Arena.
Yeah, I saw that too.
They're giving them some trouble over at Croke Park. But for the record, I'd still go. I'd still go to 3 Arena. I was there in 2014. It's an incredible spot, but we're talking about like a 80,000 seat stadium or a 10,000 seat arena. Shades of UFC going from Cardiff to O2 Arena for the Leon Kamaru.
I think they made the right call.
Well, now that the car turned out the way in which it did, yes. They made the right call. Last thing, Lauren Murphy, this tweet. No. Ugh, I just got I saw AK Lee retweet this from Jeb, but it's from May of 2022. I thought
she did say she said something on Twitter. She wrote a long message.
Oh, about what?
How about how like people are saying she should have thrown in the towel?
She's defending the decision not to throw in the towel. Yeah. Basically saying a lot of male fighters have taken beat downs, and then
she's saying that if you're going to say that, then Glover should have thrown in the towel as well.
Yeah, I think you can make that case.
I don't.
But I honestly don't. I know some people like to bring this up, like, oh, you wouldn't say that. You know, you say that for this fight, you don't say that. I feel like I've been pretty consistent about my desire to see more of that in the sport.
There was no offense being mounted.
Yeah, Glover was still throwing punches.
It was a one-sided.
Didn't one of Glover's
one-sided affair.
Coaches want to end the fight after the 4th round?
That happened. Yeah.
Interesting.
Shout out to A. Feldman MMA.
Oh, he's the man.
He made a nice edit of you watching the Pitch Black match on Saturday.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for that. That's going to be on Saturday. For now, though, I think we're out of time, guys.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think it's time to go. I mean, we started a little rocky, I thought, out of the gate, but I think we really landed this plane nicely. What do you think, Frank?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right in the Hudson.
Tremendous insight. I just got a... That's a good one. I just got an email from Timmy Tortuga. I think it's just a random fan email. He says he heard us talking about the acai experience or lack thereof in NYC. He says we have to go to Tap NYC, Upper West Side by Central Park. He says it's the best. What do you think, guys? Tap NYC. Looks nice. 100% gluten-free Brazilian superfoods.
That sounds exciting.
You guys want to go?
Yeah, I was
well,
supposed to
do
go
good,
to
live
Fogo de
better.
Chão yesterday.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
I got ruined in my bets.
Let's just say there's not any Fogo de Chão coming up anytime soon.
That would have been fun. That would have been fun.
I was really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, you could go.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, so, and by the way, for the Royal Rumble thing, winner gets the whole pot. Now,
That's exactly what happens.
How does it work? If we're doing $25, how does it work if you win the women's but not the men's?
25, I love it.
20.
20, so you just get 10?
Split it, yeah.
All right. Okay, a lot at stake here. Very excited about that. Wednesday, we shall be back. A couple guests already booked, but I don't want to make the same mistake as last weekend. Same mistake that I made 2 minutes ago when I said Eddie Hearn will be in studio, but I feel pretty confident with that one. I want to thank everyone who stopped by today. It was a great show, some brilliant minds on the program. Thank you and congrats to Sayif Saud. Thank you and congrats to John Kavanagh. Thank you and congrats to the great Luke Rockhold on getting his freedom. And how about Jiri Prochazka? All the best to him as well. All the best to all of you. Back on Wednesday, same time and place until I say peace. I'm out of here.